What's up, y'all? This is RVS.
This is ROD, aka Rated R.
And we are the We Coming For You cast. And we talk about pro wrestling from a black dude's perspective. Tell them what they can expect on this here podcast.
Oh, we gonna give you all the raw and dirty and everything black from AEW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, and any other wrestling in between. If you want your wrestling unfiltered, uncensored, and you want it raw, you need to subscribe to the We Come For You cast.
Right here on SOLC Network.
All right, man, we are back. Once again, we are back. Special event, special report style. And I felt like it was only right. I needed to reach back for the sports scenario, doing the things we usually do. I need to bring in some hardcore veterans, some veterans of the game, some veterans of the conversation, the people that I chop it up with about the game all the time. So I had to go back in deep into the NBA 75 archives. and get players from different eras. So we got my man J.O. from out in Western Missouri. We went way on down into the heart of Texas via Berkeley and got my man DJ out. So hey, and all we here to do is to have a spirited, and I mean truly spirited. We don't do free advertising on this show, but trust me, it's something good in this bottle. So a truly spirited conversation about what the hell is happening in the NBA offseason. Because it's like some time I've never seen before in my life, man. So we got Kevin Durant. We got James Harden swearing he got a new lease on life. We got, who else? We got Brad Beal opting in. We got Jokic setting the record for the highest contract. It's a lot going on. But I just got to throw it out, man, and get some original thoughts just about the big picture about where we've been since the finals ended, because it feels like another universe so far. So I'm just going to throw it out there. We're going to see where the night goes, and we're going to see where it lands.
I'm with it. 100%. You said another universe. I don't know. I just, what's that movie? I just watched Doctor Strange. We in the multiverse right now. This is some other, I don't know. I've never seen this before.
So I thought it was going to be a boring offseason because there was like no crazy guys that was going to be free agents. Like I didn't think it was going to be a thing where he's going to have a big bidding war or anything like that. But I'm just going to go out there and say I think the fix was in. I think the NBA knew it wasn't going to be no offseason like that. And then they decided to partner up with KD and say, listen, man, I know you might be feeling away. I know things been a little crazy. Just wait to put it out there. And then boom, as soon as cats started getting cash, started getting signed up, now KD's a free agent. DJ, what you got for me? I know you see the big print on the wall.
It's funny. So yesterday, me and Q was talking about this yesterday. So we actually sat there and we pulled up the free agency list for this summer. And man, when I tell you that list was short, oh God, that list was short. I mean, outside of the big names, the Brad, the Zach, but players we knew that was just opting out just to re-sign for the big payday. So as we got to, looking at some names, man, we was like, God damn, like it really ain't nothing out there because we talk about the Knicks. We started on the Knicks, but they cleared up all this cap space for Jalen Brunson.
Say that again. You clear up all this cap space
for Jalen Brunson.
All right, let me ask you about that real quick. Jalen Brunson. To me, I feel like he's Kyle Lowry 2K22. And I don't remember any time where Cass was clean. Like Kyle Lowry is gonna go to the Hall of Fame. We can parking like that. We can talk about it when we talk about it. Kyle Lowry, in my mind, is going to the Hall of Fame because the credentials is looking a little stacked when you start to put them up against other cats. But I never remember cats making room for Kyle Lowry to be on the squad.
Listen to me. When I got wind, I mean, you gave up Burks, you gave up Nerlens, you gave up you got Mitchell Robinson still out there as a free agent. You trying to give up Cam Reddish, which is a viable wing in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got, first of all, to even start this whole thing off, you go sign Julius Randle for a stupid amount of money, as if Julius Randle is anything above a C player in the league.
Fool's gold Randle.
Listen, man, don't get me started. So now you out here clearing, you giving up picks on draft night. Like, you ain't even trying to take none of the young talent coming in, all because you just a firm believer that Jalen Brunson is going to take you to the promised land.
So
I need to know who's smoking what, and where we can all get a strand so we can all participate.
I mean, what does Jalen Brunson really do for you if you're the New York Knickerbockers, other than just further confirm that you're still the same New York Knickerbockers that drafted Frank Ntilikina, or however you pronounce his last name? I mean, what? Come on, man. What are we doing here?
I mean, my thing is, I look at that move, and I think that sometimes some places you got to make a move because you just got to make a move. You know what I mean? And it's like they signed Jalen Brunson fully knowing that you just got to do something. Now, the Knicks absolutely need better guard play. Like, there's no doubt about that. Knicks need better guard play. Is Jalen Brunson above the tie that any other option they got at point guard there? Absolutely. It's not even close.
Right.
And is the East kind of open on the bottom side? I mean, I guess. But when you're the Knicks, man, when do you get to the point where you just like, listen, hey, we got to draft it to get it because it ain't coming on its own.
But they did, though. That's the crazy part about it. So if you go back, they took the unicorn.
Which one? RJ?
KP.
I mean, but then they got out of that one quick.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like you said, you know, at what point in the Knicks we got to draft it because we just not going to acquire because the Knicks ain't what the Knicks used to be. Right?
All right. Let me clarify that a little bit. Some teams draft it and it changes their days. Like, I know that we got appreciatives of Anthony Edwards here. Anthony Edwards came to Minnesota. Things changed. Things didn't change when Cat got there. If Anthony Edwards wouldn't have shown up, they'd still be riding the same train they on right now if Edwards wouldn't have shown up. He changed that franchise. Trae Young, he changed that franchise down south. Luka changed that franchise. Zion,
to be determined.
We'll see. Ja Morant changed that franchise. What I'm saying is that the Knicks got to get that. And what they keep doing is ending up like 1 pick, 2 picks late for it. And it ain't happening in free agency. And because they draft bad, they can't trade for it.
Who was that they drafted before Wardell, Stephen Curry?
Oh man, they took that draft was ridiculous. That was when Randy Foy and all them cats went before him. Let's see.
Because they took who was it? Because Johnny Flynn was in that draft, right?
Johnny Flynn was in that.
Johnny Flynn from Syracuse. Yep.
Rubio. Man.
Oh no, I got it. 2009 draft. Let's go.
Me.
So the Knicks had the pick after the Warriors. They took Jordan Hill.
Okay.
They was waiting on Steph to fall, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
That draft was Blake Griffin, Hasheem Thabeet, James Harden. We'll come back to that. Tyreek Evans, Ricky Rubio, Johnny Flynn, Steph Curry. DeMar DeRozan went 9th.
What was the Knicks pick?
The Knicks took Jordan Hill at 8.
So we passed on DeMar for Jordan Hill.
And they passed on Brandon Jennings. And they passed on Jrue Holiday. And they passed on Ty Lawson and Jeff Teague, who did their work in their time.
So aside from Porzingis in the last, when have the Knicks
drafted good? Viable question.
Well, Patrick Ewing went number 1 overall in 85, I think it was.
So we gotta go all the way back there. We gotta go back to crack baby days.
I mean, all right. So let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's do the last. I'm gonna do the last 10 New York Knicks first round picks that they kept. Obi Toppin and Leandro Bomaro in 2020. R.J. Barrett, Kevin Knox, Frankie Nicotina, Chris Stapps in 2015, Tim Hardaway Jr. in 2013.
I remember that.
Iman Shumpert in 2011. Jordan Hill in 2009. And they took Danilo Gallinari with the 6th pick in 08.
I do remember that.
So the only cat that I really look at this entire thing and I got any idea that I think there's any potential is still RJ Barrett. And RJ taking the long way.
Yeah.
That's so I will say this. I think at the time when they took Shumpert, I thought that was a viable pick just because the Knicks needed defense at that time.
I thought Kevin Knox was going to turn into something.
They didn't play him. They didn't play when he came in. Who was the coach? Woodson?
Yeah, they buried him.
That was Woodson. Yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't play him. He didn't get, and it's the same thing with Reddish. Thibodeau won't give him the time of day, but he's a viable. You got a 6'6" wing that can shoot.
So that's the reason why Tom Thibodeau is the worst coach for that team, though, because Tom Thibodeau's not going to play young guys. He's just not going to do it unless and if he does, he's going to run them into the ground. Word to Luau Deng. So, like, the thing about it is that you can't have a team that needs to draft a superstar if your coach don't want nothing to do with no young guys. And if your franchise can't attract nor trade for veteran impact. Like, these two things don't add up.
But that's the crazy part about it, because the Knicks ain't nothing but young guys.
Well, yeah, but they them other kind of young guys. They them young guys that, like, the Knicks roster is weird as hell. So let's just talk about it. The Knicks have been in the spotlight this offseason because the Knicks are always in the spotlight. They're the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
Ooh.
Only problem is that the Cowboys actually make the playoffs and disappoint. That's the difference.
I stamped that one.
But they gonna get talked about no matter what, and they gonna get run no matter what. So when I look at the Knicks roster, though, it makes absolutely no sense. It's just a collection of guys that was doing reaches for their free agents. Your Evan Fournier's, your Julius Randle went off for one time, but then you overpay for Kemba. You know what I'm saying? It's like a whole, like, the roster makes absolutely no sense. It's all, if hope was a strategy, it would be the New York Knicks. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is an outcome when nothing else is left.
I mean, all right. I allocate $100 million to Jalen Brunson. For what? What do I get for that?
You get a lot of hope. 4 years, $104 million.
I mean, I have no that move. I'm nowhere close to getting out of the Eastern Conference.
No,
I'm scratching for the bottom half of the playoff picture.
Jalen Brunson, if you're ranking your top point guards in the NBA right now, does Jalen Brunson crack the top 15?
No. And I don't have to think about that. I don't have to think about that. No.
Like,
if he do, he 14-15.
Like, if I throw a guy out there, Trey. No. Kyrie. No. LaMelo. No. How many guys? The Bulls have got 3-point guards.
Hold up. Let's stop in Atlanta. Let's go Trae Young and DeJounte Murray.
I'm sorry. I'm bookmarking that because I got basketball thoughts about that. And I've talked to both of y'all separately about this trade, and I feel like it's gonna be a real interesting thing. Hey, fuck it, I'm not gonna just rain on Jalen Brunson. We know what that's about. Here's what it's really about. Worldwide West and them is good with his daddy. His daddy is up there. They got the Michael Porter deal. If you come up here and get your son to come, we all good.
Yeah,
that's what it's really about. Talk. And I still am gonna say that the Donovan Mitchell hope strategy to get to New York is still in play, and Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson not winning playoff games. Sorry, not happening.
No.
So you brought it up. DeJounte Murray heading to Atlanta for Danilo Gallinari. Shouts out, he's still around, and a couple of picks. Let's just talk basketball before we do anything with this.
Okay.
Josh, hit me with it, because I know you was the first person to raise your hand. Like, hold on, y'all. This kind of doesn't make sense.
For me, your guy in Atlanta is Ice Trae.
Mm-hmm.
And Ice Trae is Ice Trae because he got that pill in his hands.
Yes.
Does he have range? Absolutely. But he's not one of these guys that's he's not moving off the ball like Steph.
Yeah.
Ice Trae is breaking you down and raising up. Or he's breaking you down and throwing lobs to Capella or kickouts to Bogdanovich and the rest of those guys. He needs the ball in his hand, is the point. Now you bring in DeJounte Murray. Very, very, very solid point guard. Good facilitator, runs the show well, but he does that with the pill in his hands. Somebody help me out. There's one basketball and two guys that dominate it.
So Josh,
make it make sense for me, bro.
So it's funny. So I said the same thing to Matt when it came out, and I said I thought it was a good move for Atlanta because DeJounte is a hell of a player. Like, you fight for DeJounte Murray. I said, so the thing I said to Matt, I said, if I'm the Hawks organization, Trae Young need to watch all Steph Curry film all offseason to learn how to move without the ball. Because when you get into the playoffs, like everything that Trae Young does during the season is cool, it's cute. You know what I'm saying? It win you some games. Obviously, it put people in the seats and all of that. But come playoff time, as we saw when they ran up against Miami, shit ain't sweet. Mm-mm. So you need somebody like a DeJounte Murray, big guard, that can get to the bucket. He can create. He's a playmaker, to take that pressure off of Trae so that they can't, bully him or double him or whatever the case may be. But to your point, though, I think it bodes better for Trae to learn how to play off the ball better than DeJounte, because Trae's just a better shooter. Right. So he could be a Steph Curry-esque if he learns how to move without the ball.
So Trae is trending towards that magical number that's 40% from three, right? Like last year, he put up 28 a night. He put up damn near 10 assists. He shot 38% from three, all right? But Trae is absolutely a volume guy. Like, Trae got to get busy on his own program. And here's my thing. When we talk about teams that's got a strategy, the Hawks haven't shifted their strategy in my book. The Hawks strategy is just to grab talent no matter what. Like, it doesn't even have to make sense with what they got going on. It's just to grab talent. Like, the Hawks have got too many guys on their team. And it's like, you got Bogdanovich, but you already had DeAndre Hunter. And then you go and get Capella, and you got Okongwu, but you got John Collins. And now you got Herter there, who's supposed to be your spot-up guy, but you don't really put him on the court. And you had to get rid of Reddish because of that. And now you bring in another point guard who's going to have to be a off-ball guard somewhat. And it's going to be like that dual ball handling thing. Like, the vision I think they got was that Rockets with Chris Paul and James Harden. And that only eats so much. Like, the Hawks are hoarders. They've got all this talent, they've got all these things here, but it doesn't really make sense together. Like, they're a classic like mid-tier thing, when really what they should be doing is saying, let's get as many dogs around Trae as we can. Let Trae be our volume guy and buy into the Iverson system. The Sixers wasn't bringing nobody up there to take shots away from Iverson. They was bringing people up there to help him make his shots easier. And if Trae's going to be the guy they think that he's going to be, and they're going to let him go about his business that way, they need to either let him run the Iverson system or let him run the Reggie Miller system, because those are the two guys that it feels like to me.
It would have to be Iverson because he can't move off. He don't move off the ball like Reggie.
Well, and what I mean for Reggie is not stylistically, but you knew that the system there was built for Reggie to eat. So, like, everything around Reggie was built for Reggie to do his thing. Like, I don't think any team should go to the extent like the Rockets went to around Harden, where it was four guys watching, or kind of low key what the Mavericks look like with Luka. I still don't love that. Like, the Hawks got more talent than that, but they got to parlay it together and go and get more things that make sense to play with him.
And I think we need to put emphasis on that point. Sometimes you have to go fit over talent.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Talent is what they're doing in Atlanta, and it doesn't fit.
Right.
It's a puzzle, and you have to get pieces that fit.
And that's why they up and down. In the Eastern Conference Championships, but it was all like, I don't feel like the Suns and the Bucks turned the corner 2 years ago. The Hawks didn't. They just got a pathway that got them there, because it didn't feel like a momentum gain. It just felt like a random leap that they made because of the way the dice fell. Because KD and Giannis ended up playing against each other instead of playing against them.
Right.
True.
Right.
True.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what the Hawks' plan is, but to me right now, like they're a classic team that I want to save the KD conversation, but they're a team that needs to put some of those guys together and make it into a different type of impact. Because it's just too many top 10 guys on one team. And sometimes your point is to draft a lot of guys to get a guy. Like word to the Lakers. They drafted a lot of guys and went and got a guy. And that was the AD trade. That was the heart of it. You know what I mean? And it made sense. You know, I've been on the record questioning if that was the way to go. But at the end of the day, it got a title and it consolidated a lot of pieces into a guy. And I feel like the Hawks are a team that needs a guy that can run with him. And even DeJounte Murray can be a trade chip. Like, look at what the Warriors did with D'Angelo Russell. They won that title because they dealt him for the right guy.
Facts.
So what caliber guy do you put alongside Trey?
So that's the tricky thing, right? Like, could Trey prosper a little bit more with a pick and roll option? Because that's what John Collins supposed to be doing. But he kind of there, but it's kind of like that's all he does. The thing you got to be worried about when you give a guy, I'm going to answer that question, but this is another thing I had thought about Trey with. The thing about that can be dangerous about when you got a lot of young guys and a guy like Trey is that them other guys not developing because they not getting the ball up like they should because it's all about him doing it, right? And that's the thing I worry about. Like, y'all remember DeAndre Hunter at Virginia?
Yes.
He was looking like Scottie Pippen sometimes.
He was nasty. He was nasty.
But now he's just kind of a guy. Yeah, okay, I see what y'all are doing. That was a subtle jab, but that's fine. I see what it is. But I don't know what it is, man. I'll be honest with you. You know who that guy might be right now he need to run with? It might be DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton to go down there and make sense. Sign and trade with the Suns. The Suns need more guys that they can afford because they got thin and they got ran out because they thin.
They are thin.
Maybe the Hawks should have been in on that Christian Wood trade instead of the Mavericks.
Instead of the Mavericks. That Christian, I like the Christian Wood thought more than I like the Ayton thought with Trey.
Okay. Can we talk about DeAndre Ayton in a second too?
Please, yeah, we absolutely can. I'm never gonna forgive him for what he let Giannis do to him a year or two ago. Giannis
was Super Saiyan, but yeah, there was some willingness that happened in that situation too. I was in Vegas during that finals, and I was like, God damn, dog, you might as well come out here with us.
Right. In fact, hey, I pour him a glass. He can get in on this action.
Yeah, he might need to. He might need to explain himself.
Man.
Still doing better than Marvin Bagley, though.
Oh.
He got a new situation. We gonna see. I think him in Detroit running with Cade, it might be a breath of fresh air.
I like Cade.
I got some. I think I want to talk about the draft too. Let's go to the draft for a second because we kind of jumped ahead of the draft. I'm gonna say something. Here's my takeaways from the draft. I think that this draft gonna take 3 years to figure out. If you're trying to figure out who won this draft at the end of this year, you're not gonna get there. You might not even get there after the end of next year because I think like the top 5 guys are kind of all on the same tier.
Okay.
I've got no qualms with that assessment.
Okay.
I feel for Jabari Smith.
Man, I do too. I felt for whoever Houston was going to draft. I felt sorry for.
Now that's a team that might have could have used Jalen Brunson. Somebody just to hold this thing together. Like the Rockets need like Chauncey Billups from like 2003. Like before he went to the Pistons, Chauncey Billups. So just like Chauncey Billups is just gonna hold it together. Cause that boy Green, he don't care. He don't care. He Chopper City in the ghetto. Right now. He don't care.
When your running mate is Kevin Porter Jr., hey. You know what I mean? Like, what you want me to
You
do?
talking about that boy got a lot of Ricky Davis in him.
A
Man,
lot of ooh.
He got a
That's a
lot of
good
Ricky
call.
Davis in him.
Good call.
listen,
No conscience.
Houston ain't. Houston is one of them teams that's gonna be down there for a while, and it's going to take Jalen Green to just get tired of losing before he changes his game and becomes a more team-oriented player, in my opinion.
So how do you think that the next couple years, compare the next couple years for Jalen Green to somebody whose career we've seen already?
Melo.
Ooh, he gonna blow up like that.
Well, I'm comparing it in the sense of
I see where you're going. Go ahead.
I'm comparing it in the sense of he has to figure it out. Because Melo was one man show, rightfully so.
Yeah.
One man show until, and it probably wasn't until Chauncey got there.
Chauncey. Right.
When he actually figured out, like, oh, this is how it goes, because Chauncey had the pedigree, he had the background to support it.
Mm-hmm.
So you listen to that guy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to AI, love AI, top 5 shooting guard all time.
Wasn't the right guy.
AI was still in that mode of scoring. You know what I mean? Like, he had been to the promised land one time, but like you say, it was on his terms.
Right.
AI had to share that spotlight, but AI was still in that, like, I can still get it. I'm still a killer. I'm going to still go do it. But when it came down to playoff time, you know, the game is completely different in the playoffs. They couldn't turn it. I thought they had the team to do it with Kenyon, Nene, AI, Melo.
With Birdman off the bench.
Fuck, even Anthony Carter, I could, deal with Boykins. Like, I thought they had the team that was, poised. They had the team, the talent, and what I'm saying, the know-how, and the bruisers. Shout out to Kenyon. You know what I'm saying, to not be intimidated, but be there. It wasn't until that 2009 season when Chauncey got there, Melo figured it out, and that's how they was able to make a run. Just so happened they just ran up against fucking Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Bean wasn't messing around.
Yeah, Mamba mentality, like he was on a mission. And you know what I'm saying? So it took that. So I'm comparing it to that. Now, talent-wise, I mean, Jalen Green, he can score the ball with the best of them. Not gonna argue that. Boy can jump out the gym. But that's more so what I'm thinking of when I say Melo is just, you can't be I'm gonna get mine. And whether we win or lose, I'm still gonna get mine. It's gonna take him to lose, and probably a veteran of some stature for him to figure it out, to be like, all right, cool, I got to do something different.
You know what? When I look at Jalen Green, man, I look at him day in, day out. He reminds me of a couple of different eras of T-Mac, because he can get a bucket anytime he wants to. But it's almost like he reminds me of the talent upside of T-Mac, but sometimes with the discipline of Westbrook. And I'd be like, bro, you can't go about it this way. Like, he's trying to yam on cats in like the second quarter he's trying to yam on cats in the fourth quarter when he need to get to the free throw line. Like, bro, chill, like, play the game the right way. You're going for the wrong thing. You focus on the wrong thing. And that's why, still in my mind, first of all, I think that the 2021 draft is going to go down as one of the better drafts the NBA's had in a long time. But when I look at Cade, that's why I feel like Cade was always the right guy at number one, because you don't see Cade make the wrong decision. And then Cade pick up other guys too. And then that goddamn Mobley. I mean, he's just problems personified.
So the thing about Cade, the difference between Cade and Green, there's a maturity level.
Yeah.
There's a maturity level and an understanding of winning basketball that comes with Cade, that, man, Jalen's just a young bull. You know what I'm saying? He's just out there to go get it. He hasn't matured. That's the best way I can say it.
Jalen's still playing AAU ball in the NBA.
Facts.
And that only floats so far. That don't float to the playoffs.
No.
Not the way he going about it, at least.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I agree. Like, that's the thing. Like you said, like, he just in selfish mode. Like, it's all about, like, I'm going to get mine. I'm gonna make Sports Center, or I'm a, you know what I'm saying? It's a bragging rights thing. I dropped 20 on your team. I dropped 30 on your team. I dunked on your center, like that type of thing. Like you say, AAU mentality. It's going to take him to just get tired of losing. To be
Right.
You know what? And it's a little sacrilegious.
And I'm gonna take it a little step further than that, because I watched a lot of Jalen Green's footage when he was in high school, and it was the same thing. Like I never watched this footage and got the feel of, yo, I'm putting this team on my back so we can get this dub. I'm just trying to get my numbers. That's the feel I got all throughout me watching this footage. I'm getting this. I'm getting my dunks off. I'm showing my range. I really don't care if we get the dub or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are hitting the nail on the head. Until he gets sick and tired of losing, and I'm pretty sure the media eventually is gonna start raining on him, like, man, bro, you cool, but you can't win, dog.
Right.
When that media starts to lay that on him, then he'll get pissed off enough to care.
So,
but he's been that for years.
Yeah, he is.
I never saw a guy that's like, I want this dub. I'm out here. I'm not losing. I never saw that from him.
So what team took the best advantage of the situation they was in the draft? Like, if you look at that team that's in the top 5, top 10, and they walk away and you just like, all right, I see the vision. They actually took a stride that's going to get them to a place in 2 years this year.
Hold on, let me take another sip.
That say a little bit about the draft. That say a little bit.
I'm like, because I've accepted, like, the Orlando Magic is purgatory.
Yeah, I mean, the Orlando Magic. Yes, that's it. That's enough.
It's purgatory. Sorry, Boncaro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna jump out on a limb. I'm gonna jump out on a limb, and I'm gonna say, I don't know if it's gonna be 2 to 3 years. I may push it out just a little bit further, maybe 4. I'm gonna say 3 to 4 instead of 2 to 3.
Okay.
OKC,
they got the pieces.
They got the pieces, and they got the picks.
I think they got 14 left over the next 3 years.
They got the picks.
They got a bunch of them.
So they could package. So what you mentioned earlier about sometimes your job is to draft guys in order to draft a guy.
Mm-hmm.
You did all these moves. You got rid of all the big names. You got all these picks. Knicks fuck around, gave them more picks to not draft in this draft. You got a lot of picks to where you could get some viable pieces and start to make a run. And all it takes, and OKC is one of them places that all it takes is a little bit of buzz.
Yeah, because they'll get it. They'll support you down there.
They will support you wholeheartedly. So all it takes is just you start to get that snowball down the hill a little bit, and it's going to look, even though it's a small market, it's going to look attractive to somebody or somebody.
I've been to a couple of Thunder games, bro. It's electric down. It's electric.
It take over the whole city.
And
it's electric.
All you need, because you get in the reason I say that too, to take a step further. Now, outside of what Westbrook, Durant, Harden was able to do, one person, arguably two, that are making small markets attractive, Dame and Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
They are making
Dame Dollar. Hey, that's my favorite player in the league. We'll table that. Dame is my guy.
And that's just, and so, and to both of their credit, they one of those guys like, listen, they drafted me, they took me, so I'm gonna give them everything I got.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the city ride behind them. OKC is one of those places. All it's gonna take is just a little bit for it to look attractive to somebody or somebody's, and then OKC gonna be right back in the mix, and they gonna be the topic of discussion.
So there's a couple of teams that's riding right in that same like level right now, though. OKC obviously got all the picks because they've done, the super rebuild. But another team that's got the picks but actually got the talent to do something with it is the New Orleans Pelicans. because they're just starting to get into the heart of their Laker picks now. And
Let's talk about that.
It could be based on what happens with the Lakers over the next 3 years or so. Those picks could be up there depending on what happens.
Facts.
Because one thing we do know about old LeBron James, when he leaves the town, he leaves it burnt to the floor.
Facts.
There ain't never been a city. I need to look at the math on this because it intrigues me. What is the winning percentage of a team the year after LeBron leaves? So when
30%.
he left the Cavs the first time, when he left the
30%,
when he left the Cavs again,
I'm guessing 30.
I gotta know. I gotta do fast math.
Yeah, fast math. But I will say, so when he left Miami, though, they still made playoffs.
They did because they had two
Bosh
top
and
75
Wade.
guys
Yeah,
too.
they still made playoffs, so they were still viable because of that. So like, it wasn't just a high and dry moment. But Cavs, in both instances, yeah, it's done. It's a done deal. It's just a done deal. That's a whole nother discussion. But we're gonna keep it.
Them Cavaliers are interesting though.
Like the Cavs. Like the Cavs.
Them Cavs.
I like the Cavs. They're another team. Now they're a team that's done it the most right building through the draft, maybe in the last,
I would agree,
4 to 5 years.
But yeah, I would agree.
Because they weren't scared to draft for purpose. They took Garland on the heels of taking Sexton, and they just said, hey, that's the guy we need right there. You know what I'm saying? We got to do it. They wasn't afraid to mix it up with the trades, went out and got Jared Allen in an absolute theft to get him thrown in the mix.
Fleeced.
I didn't understand why Jared Allen was part of that trade. I never understood it.
Me either. I was like, why? Why'd you let him
Now you pair him with Mobley. You go and get a couple guys who's, nice guys like Isaac Okoro. They went and got my man from Kansas, Akaji.
Abaji.
Yep. You got Sexton, who was kind of doing the Monta Ellis thing, but, it's cool. They policed that. And then you got Garland, who's a hooper. Who's a hooper's hooper. Who might be the most slept on point guard in the association right now. Jalen Brunson gets the headlines that should belong to Darius Garland.
I would ride that way.
Garland reminds me a lot of Ice Tray.
He go for it, dog.
In terms of style.
Yeah, he goes for it. I like that Darius Garland a lot.
He's a player.
And the Cavs are going to be the team that's going to mix up the East the most next year because now they just got the experience under their belt. They're going to take the strides, and they're going to be the team that flips it. But it should be the Hawks that's in their spot. But I think that the Cavs are going to be the team that moves into that space instead. Shouldn't shock nobody if the Cavs were a 5 seed next year in the East, especially with the Nets getting ready to fall all the way off. The Nets are going to the projects.
Let's see. Cavs. I don't know. All right, so we got, all right. I'm thinking 4. I'm thinking
Cabrini Green.
All right, so what we doing? I'm trying to think. 4 teams better than those Cavs. Philly.
Check.
Boston.
Check.
Milwaukee.
Miami and Milwaukee. Yeah, they 5.
They should be 5. They should be better than the Raptors.
5. They should be better than everybody else.
They should have been. They would have been. Had Sexton not got hurt, they probably still would have been in that mix.
I think there's a team that need to make a trade.
I feel like Sexton, look, dog, I don't got a slot for you, bro. Like, I'm not shitting on you. I'm not trashing you, but yo, I don't see Sexton and Garland working out.
Garland got to be the priority.
And Garland's definitely got to be the priority because he's the more well-rounded guard for me.
My thing about it is, man, that the East is still a tale of like 3 different parts. Like the East has 5 teams in each tier. Well, 4 teams, 6 teams, and then the rest. Like, so let's just get into it, man. Let's talk about the order of the day, man, which is some of these free agents that's moving around and what that really means.
Let's get it.
So before you do that, man, I just got one quick question because you said something and I had to think back. So you said the Cavs probably the best that drafted in the last 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, that's just got guys on their team that they starting to get the results from.
Boston don't get no honorable mention for that.
I think it's been outside the 5-year window though. Like Tatum and them been in for a minute.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown been there.
Year 4?
No, it's like Tatum's going into year 6.
Because Tatum is with Lonzo. And
that was
I think
20.
Tatum's with Lonzo, and I think Brown is with Ingram.
Yeah.
And that was what, 20?
Trust me, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm pissed.
So Jason,
we got AD, so
Jason was the number 3 pick in 2017.
So that's the 5 years.
Okay.
So we in the 5 years.
So that's 5.
So we in the
but
5.
Brown is before.
So Brown is before. Brown was the year before, but you got Tatum. You got Tatum.
That might be fair. Williams. That might be fair. I was thinking about moving into this next year, but that might be fair though.
Leave them be. They all right.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to throw that out there because I thought about.
I mean, we can talk about the Celtics real quick. We didn't talk about everything else except for the 2 teams that got it done.
I mean, listen. Boston surprised. I think Boston surprised. First of all, everybody outside of the Boston metropolitan area.
Oh, they surprised some people there too.
Like, listen, we was looking at Boston like, okay, they might have to start breaking this up, and then they went on a crazy run. They went on a run better than the Rockets when they won 22 straight. Back when it was T-Mac, Yao, and company.
So, and you right, and you know that because you watching the association every night. But it confused me about how more people didn't realize what Boston was doing because it's not like Boston doesn't get headlines.
Right.
True.
Boston is easily one of the elite franchises in the association. Easily.
But it's like people was just like, oh, Boston doing that? I'm like, yeah, Boston since February has been wild. Like, yes. And I think is it because they pivoted in the middle of the year and became like a completely different team in the second half? Or is it because people was kind of used to that cast not getting it done? Like, I don't know what it was. But that team grew. They had like that puberty summer. Like they grew 5 inches real quick in the middle of the season. Became different guys.
I agree with you. I think it was a couple things. I think it was Marcus Smart taking the forefront as a leader. I think it was Brown and Tatum figuring out who's 1, who's 2. And I think it was Udoka reassuring all of that at the same time.
Hey, another thing is they also brought in a lot of guys to play their part too. And that take a little time to come together. Horford, Williams, yes. Pritchard, Robert Williams came into his own. Like all these things had to happen. Grant Williams, I should say, and then Robert Williams came into what he needed to become and all of that. Like the Celtics in my mind was a team that was 95% of the way right to get it done. But they had no ball control and no discipline. And it just got exploited more and more and more each round.
Point guard. I agree with that. And that's what I think that's the one thing. Because at first, me personally, I was saying Boston needs a big man. Like Boston needs rim protection in the worst way. When I saw they drafted Robert Williams a few years ago, a lot of people I personally think slept on Robert Williams because I used to watch him in college, SEC. Used to watch him like crazy. I said that is going to be a pick that is going to pay off in time. And just so happened this year, that boy was throwing everything around the rim.
Facts.
I'm Lord.
Facts.
Jesus Christ. And so it was like, okay.
Facts.
Now Marcus Smart, they was able to get away again, regular season. And I shout out to Draymond for that comment that he said on his podcast. Some guys is built for 82 games and some guys is built for 16 games. So everybody ain't built for the postseason. Marcus Smart during the regular season, you can get away with the bringing the ball up the court, just passing it off, letting Jalen and Jason do their thing. But in the finals and even in the playoffs, we saw it too against Miami. We saw it against Milwaukee. They had their struggles at that point. Drew wasn't giving no slack.
None.
Drew wasn't giving. Marcus Smart fucked around and threw that series away, fucking around with Drew Holiday.
I'm gonna tell you what too.
I ain't gonna hold y'all. Chris Middleton plays. We not talking about Boston.
This is a whole different conversation.
No. Most known unknown, Chris Middleton.
Right.
That's what he's about. The Bucks.
Right.
That's why I like the Bucks, man. That's wild because I'm a Bulls fan, man. That's why I like the Bucks because they got a lot of guys that people don't appreciate what they about. From Brook Lopez, whose whole career been built on that, to Drew, to I mean, hell, even them, they became a victim of their own thing. They let DiVincenzo go, and that actually hurt them. They had nobody to feel that penetrator on the other side.
I hated that move for them. Hated that move.
Made no sense. Like the Bucks, but the Bucks is gonna be all right though. Like the Bucks are gonna be fine. I have no worries about the Bucks. I still will take action on them being the best team in the East. We don't know a few things.
I'm gonna level with y'all. If you have either Giannis Antetokounmpo and Curry on your team, you're fine. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Fair point.
If you have
very fair point.
Those two guys, you're okay. You'll figure it out.
You will.
So, all right, man. So I'm gonna get into the order that so far to recap real quick. Actually, I'm gonna take a little quick break real quick, man. We're in a sports scenario, man. We jumping deep into it. Like this is into the weeds talk right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I said I don't do free advertising on this show. I'm gonna do a little bit of it though, because it's for the crib. Hey, this is that Rally Point still 630 Rye Whiskey right here. It's made locally here in the crib, and it is a hell of a sip. I highly recommend it next time y'all around. I got to come west and I got to come south. I might just bring a few of them with me as long as TSA rocking with your boy. Why not?
Easy call. Let's make it happen. Let's make that happen.
What you got going over there, DJ? I know you always got something good flying off there.
Actually, it's time for a quick refill. So I'll give you
with the wealth and affluence of in the South.
You know what I mean? Let me go. What I decided to sip on because I knew you were sipping on something, real exotic.
I got a Donald Greenlee contribution upstairs that I was gonna pull down, but I want to save it.
I went this route.
I feel that. Those are very important
the VSOP.
Yeah.
The VSOP.
Hey, that Camus is nice. That Camus is nice. Actually, anything with Camus on the label is nice.
I had to go that route. I had to graduate. We ain't in Mizzou no more. Otherwise, it would have been the Hennessy. But
we are not.
That's what we had to go with. So
I
that's
love
what I'm sipping on. About to re-up real quick for the more in-depth discussion.
Yeah, it's about to get real serious up in here.
I'm gonna show y'all what I just finished off, and I'm about to go find one of these other bottles. But I've been on this Knob Creek, but they make a little old fashioned.
Yo, I have sampled that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's what I've been on. It was better. Hey, I ain't gonna front. I saw the bottle. I was like, you know what I mean? I had to give it the.
Because you're looking at it like it's that Jack Daniels cooler, like that pre-made. You be like, I ain't messing with pre-made. But it ain't. That's the one.
Ain't that.
So that's the one. They got that whole series of the joints though, where they making the bartender editions, and then they mix them up and send them out.
So I ain't gonna hold y'all. That's kind of got me. That's kind of got me right there. That's something I'm gonna have to definitely run back.
I got a sidecar too. Quick sidecar as well.
There you go. Yeah. A little. Hold up. Shameless plug for being at the west side of the state.
Don't open it. Let it get.
Oh no. Don't let that ride.
I still got a bottle of oversized Budweiser bottle from Lou's Palace for the 2011 World Series Championship Edition Budweiser from the last night of Lou's Palace. May it rest in peace.
Shout out Lou's.
Hey, Lou's is the reason why I went to Mizzou.
Shout out Lou's.
Me and my brother rode up to Columbia. We was kicking it. I can't remember who it was, told us to slide up to this place, Lou's Palace. I was like, Lou's Palace? Hell's going on with that? Pulled up on that little lot, rolled up in there. I said, this is a whole different place, so I'm going to be okay if they got spots like this here.
Hey, I've had a few good nights over there at Lou's, bro.
Lou's the first cat that poured me a light-skinned cranberry vodka.
Yes, sir.
I looked at that joint. It looked back at me. I damn near looked at it. It looked like a mirror in that glass. I was like, God damn.
He said light-skinned cranberry vodka.
I got a light-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson as drinks he pouring in that joint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
All right, man. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to throw a couple names out, and we'll just see where it goes.
Okay.
So first one I'm going to throw out. And just come whatever comes to mind as we start. James Harden.
Washed.
Oof.
Ooh. Well,
Capital W.
man.
You know what? I looked at James Harden and they put the little age next to him. It said 32 years old.
He's too young to be that washed.
32? Woo. 32 should feel better than that.
It should look better too.
Man, hold on, man. He was running up steps and stuff today, man, on Get Out, like, on Get Up. Like, he was, he was running up the steps, man, to the off-season workout film.
That's cool.
He a new man.
This is, and he was a new man when he was hiking too, right before he went to Brooklyn, because he wanted out of Houston.
That's right.
I'm not.
Right. Look where and here we are.
I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't fear the beard anymore.
I don't think nobody do.
I don't fear the beard anymore.
So I saw that 32 next to him, and then I saw the position that was next. It said point guard. That's a hard point guard. That's like when they move you in from left field to play first base.
Listen, man.
And it's just kind of like, we got to move you over to point guard because we just need to put you in a position where you don't need to quite be as active. Like, we talking about a guy who, by all accounts, is a top 6, 7 point shooting guard of all time.
Easily.
At 32 years old, you should still be
easily
one of the best shooting guards in the league if you're an all-time guy like that.
Truth be told, at 32, you should be shooting guard. You should be top 3.
So let's think about all the other guys that's in that tier, because this is where I'm leading with this. If my hypothesis is that James Harden is a top 7 shooting guard of all time, right? When Michael Jordan was 32, business was a booming. Next. It was a booming.
Moved down to Kobe Bryant.
When Kobe Bryant was 32, I think Kobe was doing, I think that was vengeance Kobe at like 32. Like, what did Kobe do when he was 32 years old? When Kobe was 32 years old, he averaged 25 points a game. He played 80. He started 82 out of 82 games. He was 25-5-4.
What year?
Year in the league?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, yeah.
What year was that?
It was 2010, 2011.
So that was.
So that's right after.
Year.
No, that's right after the chip.
Right after the chip. Right after 010. Right after.
Right after the chip.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But he was Kobe Bryant. He was very affixed at being Kobe Bryant at 32. For sake, we looked at Kobe, so let me just go and look at Mike at 32.
32, that had to have been.
That was 95, 96. Mike was at 30 points. Mike was at 30.4 points, 6 boards, and 5 assists and 2 steals a night.
That was 72-10 season, right?
That was 72-10 at 32.
Come on,
business,
man, that's filthy.
Business was up and a booming.
We was rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It gets a little various after this. I'm just going to throw out another guy. I think that those are the absolute top. Those are the top top 2 for sure. You can get to
D-Wade.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going to D-Wade now.
Okay. All right. We all on the same page. I'm like, yeah.
D-Wade at 32.
From Wade
D-Wade at
County
32 was a little beat up. D-Wade had a beat up year. He was at 19 points, 5-5. 53 out of 54 games. 2013, 2014.
Okay.
Clyde Drexler?
Let's go with Clyde the Glide.
Can I get a Clyde Drexler for anybody?
Yeah.
Come on with it.
Yeah.
So Clyde Drexler, 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year he got traded to Houston. He averaged 21. He averaged 22 a night, 6 boards, 5 assists. Damn near 2 steals.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Clyde.
Glide was a
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
So
he's one of them.
I'm gonna do something else here because I'm in the camp of this man was a shooting guard, and I'm gonna do Allen Iverson.
Please do.
Please.
26-4, 7 assists, 2 steals a night. Still in business.
Denver.
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 Had to been Denver.
Denver. 32 years old.
Cook.
I guess that the last guy I'm gonna put out here for numbers' sake, that I'm gonna go modern. I'm gonna stay modern, even though there's one more guy that I would probably put in that conversation. That'd be the Iceman. But I'm gonna go to a more contemporary guy. And this is why I want to stop right here. Tracy McGrady at 32 years old.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Mac too. Come on.
This is Houston Mac.
It's not
25.
good. This is not Houston Mac. See, this is.
Oh no.
This is why I wanted to end up here.
Well, here you go. All right, come on with
This is Atlanta T Mac.
Oh.
This was 5 points, 3 boards a game. Last season in the league. So this is why I wanted to go to that. Because he was the ghost of T-Mac at that point. But injuries absolutely took T-Mac from us.
Man.
At a point that he should not have been taken from us quite yet.
Robbed us.
Like, T-Mac should be, T-Mac by all accounts, should be a top 12 scorer of all time. Should have got to that level. But just by volume of points. He should have had a Melo-like scoring career if he could have played all the way through. But he couldn't. So the thing I'm going to say right now is that James Harden is 32 years old. This is definitely a transition point for all of those legends, with the exception of Bean and Mike, and that's why they are who they are. I mean, it was a little bit of a transition for Bean, but it's still 26 a night. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, you set your bar all the way up here. If your bar hits right here, it looks a little different, but everybody else is still right here.
I'm going to leave it like this. Your career average, including your down years, is 25 a night.
Hats off.
You're fine.
You feel me?
You're fine.
Your career numbers are 25 a night.
You're fine.
You've done your job, sir.
So this is a question I'm going to ask. We had a lot of comments about James Harden. Not too many of them have been kind yet. Is James Harden the most complicated superstar of this era?
Complicated in what sense?
Because the greatness is there. We agreed he's a top 7, top 8 guy.
All right.
But we also said at 32, he ain't a factor no more. There's a lot of space in between those two things.
All right. Now, here's what I'm going to say about I think Harden gets a tough critique. He gets a tough critique because we looking at him as like he's a 2. Let me ask you this: what is Luka?
I don't think Luka is. I think Luka just exists.
He's just a player. Luka's just a player, and I don't know, man. For a while I was like Harden's a 2, and then I'm like, nah, he's a point, but
Harden's a guard. Harden is a guard.
He's just a guard. And
he's a guard, fair, like Russell Westbrook is a guard, like Oscar Robertson was a guard, Jerry West was a guard, like low key, Dwayne Wade was a guard.
I knew you was gonna go there.
Because Dwayne handled a lot of rock.
He did.
Because if you go back and watch them Heat games when young Dwayne was handling that rock, he was playing off a little bit, running around when he needed to, but he spent a lot of time in the middle of the games as the main guy handling the rock. And then when Brian and them came to town, him and Brian went back and forth depending on what needed to happen.
Facts.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna double back real quick and just to go back to the Jalen Green question.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden. On the other side of that, the player that doesn't figure it out, the player that doesn't get tired of losing and just always out for his, Jalen Green turns into James Harden.
Damn.
My opinion.
Damn. And there's a history of those guys. There's a lot of guys like that. Now you're starting to get into that Adrian Dantley.
Yes.
That Alex English. them guys that put up numbers and errors, and you just be like, man, that guy's numbers are crazy. Why don't we talk about him more?
Empty, because they empty.
Because they don't mean
stats.
anything.
Because they empty.
Maravich, he's a wizard. The numbers mean absolutely nothing, though.
They empty. So that's on the other side. So I say one side, on the upside, you turn into Melo, 09 Melo, because that was when he figured it out, and then they made the run. They just ran into the bean. It is what it is. But then on the downside, James Harden, and then you end up 32 when you should be still one of the top tier shooting guards in the league, or top tier guys, period.
So I think that Melo is a great person to talk about in this instance.
So hold on, before we go there, let's stick with Harden a little bit.
Okay, I wanted to tie him into Harden.
Okay.
So here's what I'm gonna say: we're not really going to talk about Melo. I want to talk about Harden through the lens of Melo.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna follow that.
Melo made a shift. There's nobody that looks at Melo like a guy who's unfulfilled. Melo is a guy that people want to get over. People want Melo to get a title. Mm-hmm. Like, he got the sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too many guys that want Harden to get the title. So is Harden at 32 a guy that's got an opportunity? Now, I know none of us believe that it's in him, but just humor me. Is Harden at the point in his career where he can be that team guy now and people get behind him?
He has to shift first. I don't think he's made the shift.
Can people get behind him? I'm gonna answer that. Where he is now, he needs to get behind Embiid.
Shift.
I agree. To your point, he needs to be like, hey, big fella, it's your world, and I'm just in it. Straight up. You know what I mean? Like, they were. I'm gonna say this, because Harden. All right, they made a final. He made a final coming off the bench in Oklahoma City, and they lost to the Heat. He was also, and I may get some flack for this, but he was also a Chris Paul hamstring away from another final.
He was.
They had KD and them Warriors on the ropes.
They did,
and Chris Paul pulled that hammy.
I don't think the two guys shouldn't have played together more than them two, but I'm so sorry.
I agree with that.
That was double bad fate. That team wasn't meant to win. Keep going. Sorry.
But I gotta call it the way I saw it. Them boys had Golden State beat until that boy CP got that pulled that hammy. They had him. And then, I don't know. Here's the problem. Harden loves life, bro.
It's facts. You like kicking it, and that's one of them things, bro. Like,
Harden loves life, bro.
He like
ain't
Kobe. He loved kicking it, and you can't even be mad at him, because you got stupid money. You got the name, the notoriety.
What are we talking about here, bro?
Like, bro.
But he lives in such a weird place, though, because it's not like he's the first cat with that type of talent that loved life. Like, he's an MVP. Allen Iverson was an MVP that loved life. Shaquille O'Neal was an MVP that loved life. Wilt Chamberlain was an MVP that loved life.
He loved
life.
Boy.
He spread a lot of love around his life. But here's the thing. I think that Shaq had a really interesting career. I think people always felt like Shaq owed them more than what he gave them, which is wild, because he gave them 4 titles. So I think that says a lot more about Shaq, because I think people felt like Shaq should have been like 7 or 8. People feel like Shaq owed him something. AI gets no question, because AI just wore his heart on his sleeve. Like, even though it was just like a whole different thing. But my thing about it is that Harden don't make you feel like he wanted, so he fall into a different category. And Wilt Chamberlain was that guy. Chamberlain was that guy, because he loved life pretty similarly to the way that Harden loves life.
Magic.
But
did.
Wilt got out of there and went and got that title when he got to LA.
Right.
When he hooked up with Jerry West. And
With
he
Jay
hooked
West,
up
yep.
with Gail Goodrich and all them guys. Harden got to have that moment now because when he win the title, there's nothing left to do.
True.
I think there's going to always be some hard feelings, but he got to show that he can put himself in a position where he can get the title. Because right now, the wild thing about those Thunder we just talked about, I can't think about a more talented team together, that young Thunder team that lost to Bron and them, that has a lower approval rating than those three guys got since they left.
All right, so earlier you asked the question about Harden, like, why is he so polarizing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much more accomplished is he than Russ? And why
really, it's kind of like the same career, honestly.
But my question is, why isn't Westbrook as polarizing?
I would argue to say that if Harden is number one, Westbrook is number two. And that's my point. I think that it's Harden, Westbrook, Durant as the most polarizing players in the NBA right now. And who are we still talking about individually this offseason for a variety of different reasons? I'll take that. Hold up. I'll take that back. I think that the only guy who could potentially be more polarizing than those three is Kyrie Irving, who we're also talking about this offseason.
This is true.
Kyrie is the sub-main event of this show, and KD is the main event. So as soon as we finish this Harden, and you brought Westbrook in, so we can talk about that. I just don't think there's Westbrook has made it very clear. Westbrook made it very clear that y'all gotta see me. Because y'all owe me money. So you gotta see me. I ain't going nowhere, baby.
I had to ask. I just had to ask.
But three of those, the three guys who was the spine of that team that we looked at in Oklahoma City, like, yo, these guys is crazy. They next. They gonna be it. They gonna be that. And wasn't next. Wasn't any of those things because they all went and did their own thing. But there's still a thought that none of them, and I don't agree with this, but there's still a thought that none of them have done it
on their terms,
on their own terms that we've assigned to them.
So is that our fault or is it their fault?
It's never the fan's fault because the fan gets to hold the outlook that they want to have.
So,
no matter what it is.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I mean, y'all watched them same finals games that KD was in. KD won them goddamn titles.
Exactly.
I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how about you say about how he got there.
Nah,
I have seen maybe two people be better in the finals in my life than Kevin Durant.
No. Let's be very, very clear about that. Kevin B2B haired Durant was clearly the best player on that court when they won them chips.
I can see to this day, like it's on my TV right now when he put up on top of LeBron. Like
game 3.
How?
Look, and let me be fair. I don't want to take anything away from Wardell because I don't call him Steph. His name is Wardell. His name is Wardell Stephen Curry. I'm not taking anything away from Wardell Stephen Curry's greatness. But Kevin Durant was clearly the best player on that court for those two chips. It's not, for me, it's not even close.
It's a hard grading scale when you got three top 12 guys on the court. Yeah. But somebody got to be underneath the others.
Somebody got to take the back seat.
Well,
Steph Curry was always the third best player in those series.
He was. It was Kevin Durant.
Crazy
it was
to
LeBron,
say.
And then it was Wardell. I call him Steph because of what he did again, this season. But then he was Wardell.
I mean, real quick, while we brought him up, while we invoked his name, because he's getting close to invoking his name stage. He might already be there. Steph Curry, second best point guard all time?
No.
I
said, hold on. I said no, but I didn't say it with a whole lot of vigor. I I didn't say it with a whole lot of oomph.
I've been say run it, Josh. I'm just curious. Run it, Josh.
Hey, bro. You heard I said no, but I really didn't.
I need to.
I didn't have that.
I hope he don't win.
Listen.
I pray he don't win.
And I'm not listen. And before as you're thinking about it, I'm not against you either way. Because right. And I told Matt this. I had this conversation with Matt. I said I'm trying not to be a victim of the moment. Okay. Don't want to be a victim of the moment. Let me start by saying Steph, greatest shooter that we probably will ever see.
Bar none.
He is absolutely carved his way into the conversation of top 10 all time with this last performance. All of that. I'm just trying to be a victim of the moment. If you put Steph Curry as number 2, I don't have a whole lot of argument against that.
It just seemed wild because it's happening in front of you.
Right. And that's the thing about it.
All right, here's an argument, because I really don't like if I'm saying Magic's the greatest, right? At the point.
Without question.
So we all on the same page.
Without question.
Okay.
I'll go on the record right now. Magic Johnson is the 4th greatest player of all time to me.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Because that's when I hear point guard, Irvin Magic Johnson is the first thing that comes to my mind.
He's not even worth
that
it.
guy.
He's it. He's Magic.
Okay. All right. Now,
I'll say this though, while you amping up, Steph Curry's the 3rd greatest guard of all time.
Mark that.
That was where I was going. I'm glad you said that. So
no, I'm joking. I'm joking. He's 4th. He's 4th.
No,
He's the 4th greatest guard of all time.
Kobe versus Steph. Let's fair. Kobe versus Steph. Because I'm out of my social media, and I'm like, Steph is the greatest shooter I've ever seen, but let's not get too out of let's not go too far, because Bean was a bad RP, but Bean was a bad man and was an elite defender. Steph's solid.
So,
but
here's the thing. I still have Kobe above Steph. I want to be clear about that. Mm-hmm. But they're back.
Hold up, DJ. Wait. All right, cool. DJ, where you at with this?
As far as Kobe being above Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But here's my thing. First of all,
we all on the same page.
I'll put it on the record. I'm not a proponent of the top 10. I'm more of a proponent of the top 25 because I think it adds more nuance to the conversation, and you got to watch people rise longer than that. So I'm a top 25 guy. And I've watched Steph move through those ranks. Mm-hmm. So now to the point where Steph is number 10 for me and Kobe's number 9.
Okay.
And there's still a lot of work to do for Steph. But here's the thing we got to be careful about with Kobe. Kobe's an icon. And when people start pushing up against icons, especially of the generational variety, people start not thinking about basketball. They start thinking about sentiment. And we went through this with Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was never an icon. He was just the most effective player of his era. And Tim Duncan is above Kobe Bryant when it comes to career greatness. And a lot of people don't like that. And here's why.
Hold on. I'm a diehard Lakers fan.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Because you respect basketball. But there's a lot of people that say, I had Kobe against Jordan my whole life. And I was like, that's your fault, not mine. Because I watched both of them. Right. And I told you in real time when you were saying that Kobe was pushing up against Mike that it's not the same thing. But you also had, anytime somebody pushes up against a generational icon like Kobe or Jordan or Magic or any of those guys, people are going to start feeling away. If I pull my daddy in on this thing right now, you start talking about somebody brushing too close to Kareem or brushing too close to Oscar Robertson and guys like that, they're going to be like, hold on. That's just how they feel. Now, I just feel like I got the privilege to say I saw the best to ever play the game. And not only did I see the number one best, day in, day out, I've probably seen 5 of the top 15 or so every day of my entire life. I saw Shaq. I remember when Shaq got drafted. Shaq is top 15 no matter how you slice it. I seen every day of Steph's career. I seen every day of Kobe's career. I saw every day of Kevin Durant's career, who I also have in the top 15 of all time.
I'm not mad at it.
And I saw every day of Tim Duncan's career. Fuck, I watched Tim Duncan in Wake Forest. Tim Duncan would have been the number one pick in 2 NBA drafts.
I ain't gonna hold you. I hate Tim Duncan, but my roommate in Columbia loved the Spurs, and I can't say the terminology, but anyway, yeah, I hate Tim Duncan because of my I hate the Spurs because of my roommate.
Tim Duncan was a motherfucker, though. I'll say it.
God,
motherfucker, and that's what he was all about out there.
God,
like watching.
I ain't seen.
It was not exciting. There was nothing exciting about it.
So fucking effective.
Oh, dumping into the
so
post.
Effective.
Hook shot, turn around.
Just what it was.
Free throw. Even his free throws was boring. He was all low.
Face up, jab step, glass work. I mean,
but here's the other thing about it. The top 10 gets dicey. The top 10 gets dicey, though. The top 10 gets dicey because you still got a lot of people in the eras underneath us that say Larry Bird couldn't be as good as y'all said he was.
Yeah, Luka is a top 5 player right now.
They think Luka is as good as Larry Bird.
And they high off shit.
They don't know. See.
They high off shit.
Boy, Bird was. Come on, man. All right. It's the 80s. I ain't gonna hold you. Does race play part of it? Yeah, whatever. The boy won 3 MVPs. Back to back to back. What are we talking about here?
Absolutely.
Larry Bird was
what are we talking about here?
Larry Bird was 2 assists away from averaging a triple-double for his career. That's the thing that people don't fucking pay attention to.
Well, my man was 25, and I'm just 25, 10 or 11, and 8.
Listen.
Including the bad back years.
Yeah.
Larry was a problem. And like you say, those under us. And it's one of those things like we used to have instant classic to where
that was so important.
Facts.
That was so we could, as we coming up, we could see the Pistol Petes, the Bill Russells, the McHales, the Havliceks, the Koozies. Like, we can watch those games and get an insight as to what those before us were appreciating.
Right.
Even though they got YouTube and everything now, they're not going back that far because it wasn't what the NBA is today. The NBA obviously is more exciting, more athletic, more dunks, more all of that. So it's like, why would I go back to watch that when all the excitement is here and now? To your point earlier, what you said about Josh, you appreciate basketball. It ain't just about the show. It's about the craftsmanship. It's about the, it's about the toughness, all of that. So
all of that matters, right?
We watch that and see like, damn, Larry, the most unathletic individual walking God's green earth in the 80s, was dominating in every facet of the game against brothers. Larry's going against Magic, Worthy, fucking
Jordan.
It's footage of him with Michael Jeffrey Jordan guarding him, and Michael Jeffrey Jordan couldn't do nothing with him.
And here's the thing about it is, people talk about the guys in the 60s, say they're playing against plumbers, which is an overstatement.
JJ.
But
his unathletic ass. But continue.
But fucking Larry Bird was playing against basketball players. And when you take them 3 MVP years,
Talk to
he
me.
averaged over the course of 241 games, 26 points a night, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and he shot 39% from 3 in the 80s.
Talk to
Bro,
me.
that's like 65% now.
Bro.
And see, here's what people don't take into account. These cats, when coming up as, preteens, teenagers,
3-point line ain't letting exist.
They didn't have a 3-point line.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? You said it. They didn't have a 3-point line.
it was a whole
Come
different
on,
game.
bro.
It was a
What
whole
are we
different
talking
game.
about here?
It was a different sport, damn near.
Niggas
Like, but while we're talking about Larry Bird,
exactly, nobody walking this guy green earth is gonna tell me Larry Bird not top 10 ever.
no, he's
Facts.
in there. He's in there.
No, he's there.
For me, he is number 8 right now, in between Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant.
I'm not mad at it.
Ever.
That's my list.
I don't even care. I don't care personally. I don't care where nobody put Larry Bird in the top 10. He top 10.
He gotta
He's
be
top
there.
10. He's in there.
top
If you gotta
10.
move somebody else out, you gotta move somebody else out. But Larry Bird there.
Larry Bird is absolutely top 10.
Fact.
Larry Bird
Fact.
is the fucking Eminem of NBA basketball when he came out and dropped Slim Shady, then dropped the Marshall Mathers LP, and then dropped fucking Eminem show. Like, it's just shit that you just not gonna do. And that's fine. You can argue basketball, and I feel like I'm an open-minded individual. I will listen to your argument, and I will take into account what your critiques are. But there is no way that you're gonna tell me Luka Doncic is fucking borderline top 3 in the league, but then say Larry Bird won't stand a chance in today's league. Did you know Larry Bird
cut it out.
Average 40 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists right now?
Bro, man,
in today's game, he'll be as a stretch 4. Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Oh my God.
These young boys have no freaking they be like, oh man, all Michael Jordan would be is DeMar DeRozan. I'm like,
if you couldn't hand check Michael Jordan, he would have averaged 45 points a game. The way you have to defend people now, if you couldn't put a hand on Michael Jordan, 45 points a game.
I was like, Kobe Bryant ruins those arguments
in the post. No hand check. How are you stopping him from getting fucking 10 feet away from the goal?
Same thing go for Shaq. Same thing go for Shaq. They like Shaq wouldn't have a role in today's game. I said Shaq would have averaged 50 points a night in today's game and fouled out like 4 people a game.
Hold up. Zion Fat was dropping 28 a game.
Here's the thing people don't know. Here's the thing people don't remember.
Zion.
Shaq.
And he's 6'6".
Give me Magic Shaq in today's game. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
you got Magic Shaq in today's game. Only Shaq was more offensively skilled. It's called Giannis.
And that's what I'm saying. So you see what Giannis is doing. Give me Orlando Shaq. Give me Orlando Shaq that put out the Bulls and ran up against Hakeem. Listen, the way Shaq was moving.
Hakeem. Put Hakeem in today's game.
Ain't got no Embiid who?
But let's
David Robinson in today's game.
Hold up. Let's stay with that. Pat Ewing.
Oh, Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing was actually, when you say people are ahead of their time, Patrick Ewing, the 3 people that were too far ahead of their time that I can remember right now, in the 3 different eras, Patrick Ewing, way too far ahead of his time because he would have been eating cats up right now. Chris Webber, too far ahead of his time. And then also, this is more recent, but if he would have stayed healthy and maybe been born 5 to 7 years later, Chris Bosh, too far ahead of his time. Chris Bosh would have been at the top of the key. Bow. Nothing for it.
Tag it. And that's another thing too. People don't realize, and it gets overshadowed so much, and I hate that. But people don't realize what Bosh was doing in Toronto.
Oh, he was hooping.
Oh my God.
Bro, I was literally having a debate last week defending Chris Bosh.
20 and 10.
Dog, the fact that Chris Bosh was the 4th best player out of his draft is absurd.
Ridiculous.
Absurd.
Hold up, say that. Hey man, for the people that's
in the back.
In the back,
Absurd.
They back there. We in conservation. We in conservation auditorium right now. They back there. They not hearing you.
Y'all needs to
They
hear
can't hear
me.
you, bro.
Chris Bosh was special, and he was just a man in between two eras.
Oh my God, man. 20 and 10, and the fact that he had to make a campaign, all them damn commercials and little skits and shit just to be an all-star is absurd to me. Chris Bosh,
if Chris Bosh's career would have started somewhere else other than Toronto, we would have had a different type of situation.
Agreed.
This shows why where you play matters too.
Absolutely.
There's been a lot of guys that have come along, and where they play can hold them back. I think honestly, a lot of these guys came in the league. They can hold them back right now.
Or where they play can or where they play can excel them. But I'm gonna table that for another time.
You got to talk both sides to it. That's a whole nother conversation.
I'll put that away. This ain't the only time we doing this. So,
because there's a guy in particular that everybody loves, and I'm like, he's a good player, but he ain't what y'all making him out to be. But I'm gonna table that.
Hey, put that in your back pocket. I love a good tease. That's a greenie tease. So, all right, we got two more people to talk about today, and they just happen to be connected at the hip temporarily. And that's Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So I want to start with Kyrie Irving. And I want to start with Kyrie Irving and the Los Angeles Lakers because Josh is here. And I need to hear what you got to say about the Kyrie Irving flirting with his old thing, trying to get that old thing back.
Hey, big head.
You want to know what I think about it? The earth is flat.
All right, so let me tell you something right now.
That's what I think about it, bro. The earth is flat, bro. Like,
I think about life in general in practical terms for the most part. I try to stay pretty practical with the way I approach things. And as soon as people started talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets, and they started talking about Kevin Durant and you talking about LeBron James, and then you start talking about Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant and LeBron James have each other's exes right now. They basically in a cuckold. They not finna trade each other's old things back to each other underneath any financial situation. It's just not happening. So that was a non-starter for me from the beginning because the Lakers are not getting rid of Anthony Davis.
No,
they can't get rid of Russell Westbrook. Nobody has lower trade value in the NBA than Russell Westbrook.
Agreed.
So how is Kyrie Irving going to get to LA?
I think
not a long time.
That's an interesting dynamic, right? Like, because honestly, that's really the only as far off as you say it is. That's really the only viable situation or potential situation for the both of them to get out of their current situation. Because nobody wants to take it because the way Westbrook played last year, nobody necessarily wants Russ right now.
Nope.
And then given the fact of Kyrie and just you never know what happens during the season to where he just doesn't play, you don't want to take the gamble, which is why the Nets don't want to pay him. Understandably so. And that's probably why Durant's like, oh, I see the writing on the wall. Y'all not going to bring him back, and I might as well go ahead and get ready to jump out this boat. Mm-hmm. So it is an interesting situation. I'd be curious. Now, I will tell you, though, the one thing that we probably aren't giving enough credit or consideration to is that the GM of the Lakers ain't the GM of the Lakers. We know who the GM of the Lakers is. And if he gives the word, they will find a way to make it work. Now, it will work better in Bron's terms more than it will work for Durant.
Are you saying that LeBron James is actually the GM?
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. No. Rob
we haven't talked a lot about LeBron James.
No. Rob Pelinka is the GM of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm gonna stick up for Bron here.
I just want you to put a dash next to that and put LeBron James.
Nah, man. It's all Rob.
I just want that to go on the record.
When
Come
it
on,
comes
Josh,
down to everything,
out of all these years, you cannot sit up here and tell me LeBron James ain't pulling strings like the master puppeteer that he is, and it just is what it is. As
and I'm gonna tell you why.
LeBron James has been an NBA GM since 2012.
I'm gonna tell you why he's not. All right, he is, but he ain't.
I'm about to say, if he's not GM, he's the owner.
Listen, and that's fine.
Hold up, he ain't, but he is. But hey, he repping the set, so I gotta stick up.
And that's listen, I get it, brother. I'm not gonna sit up here and put you between no rock and no hard place. I'm just telling you what saying what we all know to be true.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it just is what it is. So if he decides, at the end of the day, if he decides that this is what he wants to happen, it will happen.
So then, all right. So then let's put a pin in Kyrie for a minute, because you can't talk about anything that has to do with Kyrie without talking about the news of the day, which is about Kevin Durant, his ass out of Brooklyn. So first of all, before we get to the obvious thing that is the what's next thought about that, how did we get here? How did we get to Kevin Durant, of all people, saying, I'm done?
I personally think, I personally think it's the Nets not betting on Irving and Durant. More so Irving than Durant. KD, they had this whole plan or this whole, this whole scheme to be like, yo, we're going to play together. Obviously, COVID got in the middle of that, because I think had there not been a COVID, it's a different situation. It's a different conversation.
Probably.
But now the Nets see like, okay, like we can't necessarily depend on Kyrie, even though everything is done, bans are lifted. We can't depend on Kyrie because we don't know what situation may arise and we don't know how he's going to respond to it. So we don't want to pay him max money, because that's what he's going to want, is max money. So we're not going to bet on that. So I think Durant sees that as saying, no, I want to play with him. If y'all not going to pay him for a long term for him to be here with me, and obviously this is his last year and he's going to be elsewhere, I'm out too. Okay. So I think it's just more so. And so that's why I said to state when we first started, is it Kyrie or Durant to blame, or is it the Nets front office that's in question?
Okay.
And that's tough, because how can you really be critical of the Nets because you're making a business decision here?
They are. And that's what's tough about it, right? Like we sit back, like we don't know all the inner workings, we don't know all the, the tea of it all and all that kind of stuff, right? So we're looking at from third.
And hold up. This is still the same Kyrie Irving that said, oh yeah, there's Nash and there's KD. I mean, any of us can be the head coach. It's still that guy.
Wild disrespectful from the jump.
Come on, man. Hey, hold on. Let's tell the whole story now.
Wild disrespectful from the very jump.
I can't speak to that. That's a hell of a statement to make, but I can't speak to that.
That's what the man said.
I will say though. I guess I'm gonna ask a question. So again, I agree with you. Nets are making a business decision, right? Like they trying to say, like, hey, we can't necessarily count on my man. We don't know what's gonna happen, whatever the case may be. So we're being conservative. We're going to, be smart. But do you literally let arguably 2 top 15 players walk away when we all know what is capable if they get the reps under their belt to play together? Because
can I counter that
Harden thing? They didn't get to play. They only played like 20-something games.
Right. It was limited. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, don't get me like Kyrie is as crazy as he may be, as a wild card as he is. Kyrie is still Kyrie.
Uncle Drew. He's Uncle Drew.
Let me ask this then, because I think that this is kind of like an addendum to that question, because I think that's the real question. I think that's a legitimate question. What's bigger, what we getting back or the if? And when do you bail on the if?
Okay, so if you can get all right, you're in a position where with Kyrie Irving, he's obviously expressed to you that he's not happy with things there. Specifically, he don't rock with Steve Nash, and it doesn't seem like y'all have any plans of letting old Coach Nash go for whatever reason. Are you going to let Uncle Drew walk away for nothing after this season? Because that's what'll happen.
And that's what will happen. And
he's out of there. Like you gotta accept the fact that Kyrie's not messing with y'all after this season. Y'all didn't pay him. You didn't pay him the money on this extension that he was looking for. So I'm gonna ride this 36 million out while I'm watching Russ get 47 and whatever. But let's let's not pretend the cats aren't looking at each other's contracts like he's getting 47 and I'm getting 36. Really? In today's game? Really? Yeah, nah. So I'm out.
That was acting like first of all, they acting like the difference between 36 and 47 million is drinking Carlos Rossi versus drinking some fucking Camus. First of all, motherfucker, calm down. Because John Wall making more money than all of y'all, and he ain't doing shit. So
hey, I'm disappointed in John Wall, by the way, but continue.
So here's the thing. I think that we're about to start talking about Kevin Durant. We've been building it up for a little while. We're about to talk about Kevin Durant. But at the end of the day, I don't think that the Kevin Durant situation alleviates the Kyrie Irving situation, though. I think that I think the Nets have big dog their way into three very different types of problems they just can't see their way out of, and they all cost the entry price to these problems is $36 million. And that's Ben Simmons.
It is.
That's Kyrie Irving. And that's Kevin Durant. These are three of the biggest issues that you could possibly have in basketball. Because I'm going to start this with the Kevin Durant conversation. We're just going to jump into it. A hypothesis again.
Okay.
Brooklyn Nets can't possibly get equal value back for Kevin Durant.
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
No, not even close.
So what is the best possible outcome here for the Brooklyn Nets? That also, I'm sorry,
Kevin Durant?
The best outcome for the Brooklyn Nets that also makes Kevin Durant happy.
I don't think that exists.
Best possible absolutely exists. Because then you're getting the most out of the situation you got dealt. Because you know KD gonna be happy. So what's the best thing that you can get out of this situation? Because it's the NBA, and KD has said, I ain't happy here no more. It's time to go. And history tells you that when that happens, it's gonna get figured out one way or another.
Oh, he's done. He's out of there.
Absolutely.
Although, like I was kind of saying earlier, I mean, he said his front runners were what, Phoenix and Miami. But it's like, bro, you don't have a no trade clause, and you locked in the contract for 4 years.
That is so.
I'm gonna send you where I send you, bro. Like, I don't know how you're Kevin Durant and you don't have that no trade clause. But
wow, it's crazy that you don't have that. But that's why I say it doesn't exist, Matt, in your scenario.
But
somebody's unhappy.
Whoever his agent is, KD might need to reassess that as well as his barber. But you know. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying. I don't know how if you're Brooklyn, like, do you really just say, all right, Phoenix or Miami, what's the best offer and roll with that? Or
I don't think Phoenix. First of all, I don't think Phoenix can happen.
I don't think they're willing to give up Booker.
They say they won't.
They can't give up Booker. If they give up Booker, they're fucking.
No, they said Aiden and Bridges.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say it doesn't in your scenario. That's why I say it doesn't.
Because Brooklyn responded, said, "Yo, if y'all ain't including D Book, there's nothing for us to discuss."
And that's the thing. So like, there is no equal happiness for both Nets and Durant. Somebody's going to get the short end of that stick.
So let me ask this. I got a couple of theories about this. I think that history always tells you how things are going to work out in the end. And the two biggest deals we've seen recently are Anthony Davis, which was a ton of young talent and a ton of picks, and then James Harden, which was a three-way deal that had a number of teams pull together different things that benefited all of them to have happen come together. That's the more complicated one to predict because there's a lot of things you can't really account for in that. Like, if you really look at that trade, like, I guess the Rockets are the team that you really kind of feel like came out the lightest because they don't got a guy in the immediate day that you're counting on is going to be there. But the Rockets got a shit ton of picks, and now you're starting to see that come to age. But if you did a 1-to-1 KD trade, boy, Miami is really equipped to be able to pull that off. Because they're a team, because they're a team that put a roster together because they were trying to get Giannis a year ago, and they were trying to stockpile as many things as they could to make that happen. Okay,
so let's go to because for me, if I'm looking at those two situations, and I'm the Brooklyn Nets GM, I don't know who it is, but for me, Miami looks more attractive with what they have.
Absolutely. Proven talent.
But so who are you saying, like, look, y'all got to run me X, Y, and Z for me to relinquish Kevin Durant to you?
And that's my thing, because it ain't nobody on the Heat roster that they're willing to give up that amounts to a Kevin Durant. You mean to tell me that the fucking Nets are going to take fucking Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and who?
They'd have to take Kyle Lowry for the money.
For the money, you have to take Kyle Lowry. But if we talking talent, I need Bam.
And they're not going to do that.
Like that's still, and I understand Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. Like, I understand that's pretty much a off situation to try to match talent-wise. But, like, between Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, you getting this exactly Steph Curry and Patty Mills, which you already have. So
you're not wrong. Hold on, you're not wrong.
So
that's why I'm laughing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you essentially getting the exact same fucking player. And truth be told, I would much rather have, between those combos, I would much rather have Patty Mills and Seth Curry over Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson.
Can I tell you a trade that just worked for me?
Hold on, Duncan Robinson is what, 90 mil?
19 of them things. And he didn't play a lick in the playoffs.
No.
I just pulled out the old ESPN trade tracker. It just doesn't let me put draft picks in or anything, and draft picks are real collateral. Okay. However,
facts.
I was able to trade Kevin Durant to the Boston Celtics for Jaylen Brown, Daniel Theis, and Grant Williams.
All right. So somebody called me because I had a guy that's a Celtics fan, and I was like, look, if I'm Beantown, I'm saying Jaylen Brown and a little package together for KD. What we doing?
I buy that. If I'm
Austin, you pair KD with young Tatum.
Marcus Smart too. You still get to keep Marcus, and you keep
Marcus Smart
and Al Horford. Yeah,
you gotta live your life at some point.
Hey, run that. If the Nets would take that deal, if I'm Boston, Jaylen Brown, pack your shit. You getting the fuck up out of here.
So let me ask this though. Before we go too far down the line of picking where KD is gonna go, where is KD willing to play? Because here's the thing.
I'm glad you asked that.
Here's the thing. Kevin Durant is on a level. When Anthony Davis got traded, it was because LeBron asked for him. It wasn't because he said that's where I'm going. When PG-13 got moved, it was because Kawhi said this is what I'm going to need. Mm-hmm. When you get to a certain level in the league, things don't happen unless you are all right with it. And Kevin Durant is absolutely the second most powerful player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant ain't going to just play wherever. So I'm disqualifying about 23 teams in the NBA right now, unless he decides he wants to be there.
But with the no trade clause, he really don't have.
But it's the NBA.
But he does.
But he really does.
But he, at the end of the day,
what ain't gonna happen is a Ben Simmons situation because Adam Silver ain't gonna let Kevin Durant not be playing ball on some philosophical shit. That gets in the way of business. And Adam Silver don't play that bullshit.
You messing with the money now.
Because also at the end of the day, when Kevin Durant gets traded, that's a lot more jerseys is getting sold. That's good for everybody. So, in y'all opinion, man, give me 3 teams you think can make a real deal for KD. DJ, I saw that last drink hit you a little different. I got respect for you, though. Holiday weekend. You know what it is.
I absolutely. I ain't doing no work tomorrow.
Me either. I'm not doing shit tomorrow.
I'm gonna log on and just move the mouse around.
I ain't gonna hold you. I kind of joked when I said this earlier, but if I'm the Los Angeles Clippers,
I mean,
Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, pick one, put a package together.
Can't be Claw.
All right, well, Paul George. And all right, hey, Brooklyn. KD's already devalued himself to a certain extent. Be happy that I'm willing to give you Paul George. Put a little package together around PG-13. If I'm the Clippers, Kevin Durant wouldn't have a problem being in LA.
So the biggest problem with the Clippers is that they have nothing but bad contracts.
That's true.
Like nothing but bad contracts.
Brooklyn ain't got too much better.
Brooklyn at least. You're right, but Brooklyn doesn't have like these in-between level contracts. Like Brooklyn has 4 big contracts, and then everybody else just makes little medium money. The Clippers got $42 million tied up a year in Kawhi, and $42 million a year tied up in Paul George. Then they got 16 in Norman Powell. They got 16 in Markieff Morris. They got 14 in Luke Kennard, and they got 12 in Covington and 11.
I'm about to say they just paid Covington.
They got bad money. They got hard to move money when you talk about the tax situation.
I'm gonna be honest with you though, and this is just me. I'm actually curious to see what that turns into. I'm curious to see what the Clippers turn out to be as they're currently constructed.
The Clippers are the Nets West.
Ooh.
Big money, big names, big hopes, little delivery.
Ooh.
Hey,
tell me where I'm wrong.
I get where you coming from.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
No, I 100% I get where you're coming from. But if we get, and obviously it's always based on health, right? And I feel like that's what has got the Clippers is the health. But currently as they're constructed, if healthy, you got the Claw, PG, you got Covington, defensive, Powell, defensive, Zubiak does his job in the post.
Just re-signed
him. Does his job.
Just re-signed him. He does his job.
Terrence Mann.
Reggie Jackson, who has been playing out of his mind on the sneak. John Wall, you don't need him to do a whole lot, but John Wall is still going to attract attention because he's still John Wall. And then you got Luke Kennard that can shoot that joint off the hip.
And you got fucking Terrence Mann, who is a hooper.
He's coming into his own. I am curious. I'm not, no bold predictions. I'm not sitting up here and say these things about to run the gauntlet and, come out the West. Not saying that whatsoever. But I am curious just to see who's the coach, Tyronn?
Yeah.
Tulu.
I am curious to see what this looks like. Training camp, Kawhi comes back off injury, PG coming back. I am curious to see what this looks like come this season. I'm just curious. So me personally, just to combat what you said, Josh, I'm actually, and maybe this is just me, just curiosity is getting the best of me. I'm actually just curious to see what this transpires into. So I would leave the Clippers alone just because I just want to see how that goes.
So So in order, let's go with the data we got on the paper.
And when I bring these teams up, because it's a few that I got in mind, I bring it up based off of like, yo, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, yeah, I take like, look,
Yeah,
if
you
I
need
gotta,
something back. I get that.
yeah, you know what I'm
Understand?
saying? I need that. I'm gonna
something
need
back.
like Paul George,
Got
cool,
it.
whatever. But man, it's not a big market team.
I like the Boston.
Because I was thinking about the Denver Nuggets.
Let me ask a question though, real quick, about the Brooklyn Nets motivation. Are the Brooklyn Nets at all motivated to be competitive coming out of this trade?
Nope. Rebuild.
For what? Why do they want to get a guy that's going to keep them kind of competitive?
Rebuild. That's the only, again, so one, the whole Ben Simmons trade is completely worthless in my opinion if you let both of them go.
Yeah,
worthless.
That trade means absolutely nothing.
It means absolutely.
If you trade either one of these, when they trade either one of these guys, he has to go too.
It null and voids the whole, because
like here's the thing, it's a 3-for-1. All three of them have to go. They all have to go.
You're right. It serves no purpose. It means that trade was completely null and void. Ben Simmons is a hoe, in my personal opinion, for that whole
fair opinion.
All that, but that's
fair opinion.
I've got no qualms with that statement.
All votes by the usual sign of voting. Aye. Ayes have it.
Cheers.
But
ask Tanasha if she got a fourth vote.
but that whole situation, because you could have just kept Harden, expiring contract, got rid of the contract, and then had the cap space to do something different.
Ben Simmons is a fucking albatross.
Anywhere.
Ben Simmons is the chick you shouldn't buy a drink for at the bar.
Basically.
To stay the fuck away from her. She looking away, but you already know you can't deal with her.
A whole list of problems that you don't want to deal with.
That's Ben Simmons all day.
Exactly, Ben Simmons. So another boy is that it makes that trade completely worthless.
Mm-hmm. So is it fair to say that the Nets, even though they have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons, are in one of the worst positions of any team in basketball, or do they still have a chance to make this make sense?
Nope.
They're screwed.
Position.
As soon as Kevin Durant,
he was the linchpin. You had to keep him happy.
You had to keep KD happy at all costs. When you didn't do right by Kyrie Irving,
that did it.
Like there's a damn video clip of Kyrie Irving and KD whispering back and forth in the damn tunnels, like, yo, man, if we do this, we be up there. We in there together. When you didn't make that commitment to Kyrie Irving, you fucked yourself with KD.
Because you wouldn't have got KD without Kyrie saying he was going to go there.
Exactly.
Facts.
Exactly.
KD, in my mind, if that wouldn't have worked out, KD would have went to Philly.
After Golden State?
Because they had all the cash. They had all the options. They had Simmons and they had Embiid at that time. And they instead divided that cash over to Tobias Harris, JJ Redick, and a couple other cats. They had all the money to make a KD move at that time.
My name is Jimmy Butler. Y'all chose Tobias Harris over me?
Oh, man, they make bad decisions, too. They make really bad decisions. But here's my thing, though, too, at the end of the day.
Stay there, Matt, because the original question was, well, who's the idiots here? Like KD, Kyrie, or Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
It's the front office.
Brooklyn.
Yo, this is one of the absolute biggest personnel disasters, not only in NBA history, but in the modern history of pro sports.
Of sports. Sports.
I will throw together
from Harden, Irving, and Durant to
in a sport where all you need is two guys. This ain't the NFL where you got to figure out different teams. You got to have a quarterback. Then he got to have somebody to throw to. You got to have the line. The defense got to be different. It ain't baseball where you got to have a good up the middle. You got to have a good pitching staff. You got to have all these different things. You need three guys to hoop in the NBA, and you got a title.
And they had them.
And they got one of the top 15 players of all time, a guy that probably should have been top 75. And then whatever the fuck else you need from there.
They had it all, and that's why I say, first of all, whoever the GM is, that nigga's in the process of losing his job.
No, he's out. Sean Marks got to be gone.
I thought it was Sean Marks, but I was trying to spare that man. But
let's go.
Immediately. Let's go. Got to get him out of here.
So, all right. Yeah. So before we wrap up, man, I need for each of y'all to give me this, man. Give me a best outcome for KD and the Nets in this situation. Give me if you was the guy at the helm and you trying to make the move, what would be the best outcome for both sides for you?
Ooh. All right, so if I'm the Brooklyn Nets GM, he's got to get out of the East. I'm not trying to face him 3 to 4 times a season. I'm not trying to see him before the NBA Finals. You have to go West.
Well, the NBA Finals are the least of your concerns after these trades. But
I mean, facts. But I'm just saying, like. But
I just want to put that out there. Like the NBA Finals ain't got a goddamn thing to do with you.
Logistically, here he has to go West. I'm not trading him to any Eastern Conference team. I'm not. If I'm somewhat sane, and if I look out West, and I'm looking at teams that have talent that can compensate me for giving you a top 3-4 guy in the league. Damn, so here's the thing, because it's got to be the right market.
That's right. So here's the thing. In the West,
it's got to be the right market.
In the West, you immediately have to rule out Utah, San Antonio, Sacramento, Portland, Oklahoma City, New Orleans, Minnesota, Memphis, Houston, Golden State.
And probably what, Denver?
Yeah, and Denver. So now all you got is Dallas, both LA teams, Phoenix. That's it. You got Dallas, LA, and Phoenix.
So you got the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Lakers.
The Mavericks ain't got it. I don't give a fuck how
Phoenix.
You slice it.
There's no way on God's green earth.
Because he live in Dallas.
You know what I mean?
You want to move to New York, nigga?
Right. You cancel Christmas.
Facts. Because you're the Mavericks. You're not giving up Luka. Luka's everything for you.
So that's it. We're done talking.
So yeah.
So
this hold up. So this whole package thing of man, they could realistically trade Kyrie and KD to the Lakers.
How?
What, Russ and Anthony Davis?
You got to give them up.
Yikes!
That ain't gonna happen.
And agreed. You not.
Yikes! I wouldn't do it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, even though you eliminated this team, but I'm gonna just go out on the limb just because of potential talent.
What,
and
Denver?
I would go Denver.
Denver. Yeah, that's the only one I could think of.
You give up Murray. You give up Porter. You give up Murray, Porter, and they're gonna keep Bones because he's been hooping.
I'm in the trade tracker right now. I'm gonna try to make this work.
I like Bones. Bones got
to give up Murray and Porter because contract.
Bones got Maxey.
Got to give up Murray and
Bones got Moxie, man. I like Bones.
Yeah, I do too. You got to give
trade
up
fails, bro. You got to give up more. And it takes the Nets over the luxury tax if you trade both of them there. Murray and Porter both make $31 and $30 million a year.
So then you give up.
Okay. Joe Harris. Throw Joe Harris in that.
You give up Durant. Well, you're going to get rid of Kyrie anyway.
Joe Harris can make it work.
Yeah, you got to throw Joe Harris. You got to throw Joe Harris in there.
But the thing we missing with this, though, is that we trading pieces for pieces.
Right.
You got to have a team that's willing to give up at least 3 first-round picks.
And that's 100%. And I don't know what picks Denver has in the pocket.
So, you're in a tough spot. Trading. Here's the thing I'm gonna say. And DJ, I want to hear you. I don't know. I guess DJ, is Denver your team? You think it makes the most sense?
Denver's not my team, but that's just That as far as this situation, yes, that's my scenario.
And Josh, your team for KD to land in is where?
And screw it, man. I'm selfish, bro. Man, bring that boy to La La Land with the purple and gold,
I
man.
have no idea how that could even possibly happen. They have no draft picks. Like
no, we
nothing.
don't. Hey, 2027, 2029. Hey, first round picks. I'm running both of them to you.
If the GM wants it to happen,
it's going to take. Here's the thing. This trade is going to absolutely require a third team. It's going to have to. Like there's nobody that has a 1-to-1 for this, unless the Miami Heat are ready to absolutely gut themselves, which they might be ready to do. If you trade Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and Kyle Lowry, you can make it happen. You got to put 3 first-round picks on top of that too, though.
Yeah.
Do they have it?
Well, now.
Yeah, they got it. The Heat don't be trading shit from their stashes.
Let me caution you there, because in theory, yes. But I know you have to trade this fool.
Bam.
I know you have to trade him. He don't want to fool with you. So I don't have to give you everything that I ordinarily would.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it is at the end of the day, though, that's why I say look at the AD trade and look at the Harden trade. Look at both of them, because the Harden trade had like 5 first-round picks involved in it between 2 teams.
True.
Like they gonna have to come off of it. Like trading is still about market value, and market value then got thrown through the roof between AD and Harden moving out. And they lucky that they making this move before Dame say he ready to go, because the Blazers gonna ask for a nigga's firstborn. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna call it an A1 what it is. I mean, hey, honestly, if I'm shooting the shit, I'm calling the Rockets, and I'm going to be like, give me Jalen Green and Jabari Smith. They don't cost nothing. You got the money, bro.
In Houston, though.
But for what? Why do it? Houston's a great market.
It is. But KD right back in OKC when he first got drafted. Like they not
trade him to OKC. OKC got more talent than either one of those teams.
That's what, and truth be told, I actually threw that out there to say, like, that nigga fuck around, go back to OKC, because OKC has the picks.
You can trade him to Boston. You can trade him to Boston.
I mean,
Boston
for real,
and Brooklyn ain't gonna do business.
I'm not joking. If I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm on that phone.
You know who
now,
we talked to?
Hold on. Now, let me be clear. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets GM, I'm not answering. But if I'm the Boston Celtics GM, hey, man, I got a guy over here named Jaylen Brown. We put a nice little package together for you.
Real guy, too.
He's a player.
Here's my thing I'm going to say right now. Like, I'm going to answer my own question. So if there are 3 franchises I think can make this work, that's going to meet the needs of KD and are going to meet the needs of what they got to offer up, it's going to be the Phoenix Suns, because it does make sense. You got Ayton, who you can do a sign and trade for. Take Ayton up to $31 million, sign and trade. You got it right there. Throw in what you got to throw in. You could either put in Bridges, which I wouldn't do if I was them, but you could also put in Sarge and Jay Crowder and some picks and probably get to where you need to get to.
Jay Crowder, free agent though, ain't he?
He still had a number on for the next season when I saw it.
He on option.
Yeah. Okay. So have him pick it up and then make the move and get it done.
Oh shit!
All right, hold up. Before you move,
you can't give up Bridges.
I don't want to trade Bridges in this. I said sorry.
Would you give up? Would you give up Book? Would you give up Book and keep Ayton and bring in KD?
Devin Booker? All right, so I'm gonna be clear about this. Devin Booker is on the short list of my untradeable people in the NBA list.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not trading Devin Booker unless you're giving me somebody younger than him who has the same type of clout. So I'm gonna need Zion. I'm gonna need Ja. I'm gonna need Luka. Something where I get the other side of the investment, because I'm giving you a mid-prime guy. A Devin Booker trade has to look like a Bradley Beal trade.
Oh, Brad Beal.
That's what I'm going to say. We can finish with Brad. I want to talk about Brad.
Hey, get paid, young man. Get paid.
We'll talk about Brad in a second. But my people are Phoenix, it's Miami, and it's Chicago. Assets.
So who? Okay. I'm glad you threw Chicago out there, because I mentioned them before.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Phoenix. I'm sorry. It's Phoenix. Who's the other one I said?
Miami.
Phoenix, Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta are the only teams I'm dealing with.
Chicago, who are you giving up?
See, you're going to have to trade money in Chicago. So I'm going to have to trade Zach. I'm going to probably have to trade Kobe White. And I'm probably going to trade Vucevic. Thank you.
Keep DeMar.
I got you.
Yeah, you can't really trade DeMar in the situation they in. You got to keep some of those pieces as there. Because I also think that the Bulls might have their eyes on something different. I think the Bulls are going to try to be a part of the Gobert trade. I think the Bulls are going to try to trade for Rudy Gobert this summer at some point and put Vucevic in there, and I think they're going to try to put like Cody White and some picks in there to get Gobert out of Utah.
Where does that
Utah has to do something because D Mitch ain't going for that.
It's not going to stay. Utah's going to have to switch it up this summer. Utah's going to do it no matter what. The problem is that they're Utah, so they can't capitalize on any of these guys that want to go to a new market.
Where does that put Chicago if that goes through?
If they get Rudy?
Yep.
Oh, if they get Rudy, they're going to push them Cavs back down. They're the absolute second best team in the Central if they get Rudy Gobert.
Where does that put them in the Eastern Conference?
4 seed lock.
Wait. Oh, so yeah, because they still have Lonzo, Zach, DeMar. Yeah.
Pat Williams back growing.
Pat, yeah.
Caruso, mix up.
Low.
4 seed at minimum 4 seed.
I'm not mad at it.
I like it for my guys. That would be a great.
I don't see them. If Miami did, 4 or 5.
Gotta stay healthy. You got older guys. Gotta stay healthy. Zach got knee issues. DeMar's getting up in years. Lonzo gotta stay out there. You gotta do it. But Gobert is exactly what they need because you gotta have somebody that can at the very least have some type of deterrent for Giannis and all that attacking the rim shit.
I would have them over Miami.
Miami just is so balanced, though, man. And if Miami gets KD, if Miami can somehow find a way to hold on to KD, Butler, and Bam, good luck.
See, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm not going for that. I need Bam.
If I'm Brooklyn, I don't want the money. I want Hero. I want some money I can burn off. I want everything young you got on your team because the strength of the Heat is their depth. So give me all your depth.
Right.
So I definitely want Hero. I got to have Hero. Hero going to average 29 a night in Brooklyn because he's going to take every shot. All right, man. Before we wrap up, just tell me what team do you think comes out of the summer season most improved in how they entered it?
Based off of what I saw today, the Los Angeles Lakers. We're not 40 years old.
It's too many dominoes that ain't fell yet.
That's the answer. That's it. Everything up in the air still.
Yeah, it's too many. First of all, we only 6 hours into free agency?
Yeah, but these free agents this free agency is a lot of posturing though. Because when you look at free agency this year, it doesn't really tell you that it's going to change a whole lot though. Zach LaVine is re-signing with the Bulls. Right. Brad Beal already re-signed. James Harden is re-signing. DeAndre Ayton is probably not going to – he's restricted. You know what I'm saying? They can match if they want to.
That's sign and trade.
Yeah, that's sign and trade all day. You got Jalen Brunson who's on the move. You got Miles Bridges out there. He's not going to change your fortunes. You got Colin Sexton. You got Mitchell Robinson. Those guys ain't changing the wave where we at. So it's going to all be about trades. And it all comes down to whether KD is going to go to a place that's going to be such a seismic shift that it changes the direction of the league.
And that's why I said the dominoes still ain't fell yet. So this goes back to your point earlier. Sometimes your lot is to get guys to trade for the guy. So you can re-sign, all these guys can re-sign, and that's perfectly fine. But first of all, KD is going to massively shift the league in a sense the way Bron did when he left
Cleveland the first
Miami.
time.
When he left Miami and came,
Miami. Okay.
Well, no. When he left the Cavs and came to the Lakers.
Okay.
You got to go to conference because he was still always in the East.
Fact.
To the Heat to the Cavs.
I guess that's a good point. And honestly, at this point, if I was KD, I'd be trying to get West.
Because
really,
East is heating up.
They are.
Why go through it? Why do I want to potentially play Giannis in the second round for the rest of my career?
East is heating, and you still.
Why do I want to potentially play Giannis or Embiid in the second round of my career for the rest of my career? And like KD is in his going into his 15th year.
I argued that last season. I was telling folks that East is nasty.
Everything he got.
If he goes West, he got to deal with
the Joker,
the rise of Ja. Maybe the Clippers surging. Joker, but I mean,
Nuggets ain't.
I think the Nuggets got to stay healthy, bro. Like we haven't even seen them all together to do their thing. Like, and I saw Michael Porter, and I'm really concerned if he's ever a $30 million player. Like that's a very interesting contract to me. Still.
And Michael Porter, Kyrie Irving, they're more injured. They're more injury prone than Anthony Davis.
Finesse.
I mean, is there a chance that where Kyrie goes is going to impact KD's fortune?
Could. It does because it depends
Kyrie
on,
is easier to acquire for a team that needs another piece than KD is.
See, the thing is, where does Kyrie end up? Because that matters.
Can I put this out here where I think Kyrie's going to end up? I think Kyrie's headed to Dallas.
For who?
Kyrie is so fucking volatile, you don't have to put up the same value of package. What do you want to trade? Tim Hardaway?
That's what I'm saying, but that ain't to Josh's point, if I'm Brooklyn, I ain't answering that phone.
I'm not answering that.
I ain't answering that phone. I understand what you're saying, Matt, and I agree with you.
I mean, I just
Kyrie at the end of the day. 36 million still Kyrie. You gonna have
I'm gonna be honest with you. Kyrie can end up somewhere OC like Indiana.
But here I'm gonna go there because I don't think so because he's already Kyrie playing the game, bro. Kyrie already throwing it out there like, yo, I don't care where you send me. I'm signing with the Lakers next season. He's playing the game. You know what I mean? Like he's shutting down all that extra right now.
Hey, can I throw a wild card into the mix for a guy like KD who sees the world a little different? Like we looking at the world through like a basketball eye. KD looks at the world a little different. I'm gonna put this out here.
Going home?
Huh?
Going home?
No, they ain't got the assets. Like financially, that couldn't work. KD could go to Toronto. Toronto is a power city on the global level for the things he's interested in. And they got a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces.
They do.
I don't see it.
I don't
see KD wanting to go to Toronto.
I mean, Toronto is like the fucking LA of Canada, though.
It is, but it's cold as a bitch.
It is cold, but I mean, the barbershops.
With that.
He ain't worried about the barbershop, so he'll be all right.
Because who you gonna give up? Siakam?
Yeah.
You gonna give up Siakam?
You ain't got to give up Siakam. You ain't got to give up Siakam.
Who you giving up, Fred?
Yeah, either Fred or Boucher got to go.
You keep Siakam over Fred?
I mean, I'm just saying personally, myself.
Not like if you're giving me a choice between pairing KD with Fred or Pascal, I'm probably gonna keep Pascal.
Me too, because Pascal gonna do all the things I don't want KD doing.
Exactly.
And I got Scotty Barnes that can do everything.
But that's the thing. So you have somebody else that can fill Pascal's shoes more than you have somebody that can fill Fred's shoes.
Here's the thing. I think that if KD says that I'm interested in you, they're gonna start looking at themselves differently. And that's why I think Miami makes a lot of sense because they got so many pieces.
That and Miami absolutely does make sense. I was operating off of Josh's point to like I get your ass out the East because I don't want to deal with you. I just don't want to have.
I'm going to operate off of my opinion of saying the Nets are about to be the Nets again.
And that's what it's going to be. That's why I said back full circle. There is no. I personally don't think there really is no scenario where KD's happy and the Nets are happy and compensated.
So if we look at it that way, only person we need to worry about being happy is KD.
Right. You got to get him out of there.
Because the other team very rarely is happy.
So if you go to Miami, which is fine, you give up Hero, you give up Duncan Robinson, you give up Lowry, you let all that money go, you let them contracts go, you give up whatever picks that Miami's going to send. If you can keep Bam, in Miami, Jimmy, KD, Bam,
that's championship.
I don't give a fuck who else you put. You can go get
That's a good
Walker sign for the fucking mid-level. Goddamn me. Colin Sexton, bring your ass on down here and sign for nothing. Come off the bench.
People will give up their stash to come play with that team.
Right.
They will flop. And that's exactly it. Just like Boston when they had the three, just like Miami when they had the three, because you had fucking Posey coming out the woodworks, Eddie House coming out the woodworks. You had goddamn me Chalmers sitting his ass still.
Oladipo will resign.
He probably would come back. Like that's the thing.
He'll take that vet, man. He'll take that vet minimum.
Yeah. So if you can keep Bam and pair him, because Jimmy gonna do everything that you said Pascal gonna do. Jimmy gonna be a dog.
Definitely gonna do
hard niggas. But then if KD on some bullshit, Jimmy gonna go get a bucket, and it's just what it's gonna be. And then Bam clean up shit.
Hey, who signed PJ Tucker?
Philly. They got Danny Green out of there. He ain't there no more. They needed somebody to come fill that void. He in Philly.
Hey, speaking of people that sign some places, can I throw out a couple of these folks before we wrap up? People that sign some places, and I'm just kind of like, wow, I bet. So let's see. What do I got here? Mo Bamba stayed in Orlando.
Yeah, that was puzzling.
He's weird for that shit.
That was very puzzling.
Here's a guy you talk about if you want to trade for somebody, get some controlled money back for. Lou Dort, Oklahoma City. Resigned 5 years, $87 million.
You need him though. OKC needs him.
They do, but I mean, they also need.
You need him.
He's important for that type of thing. Malik Monk, 2 years, $19 million with the Kings to jump from the Lakers.
That was a shock.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Malik Monk, for doing that, because that allowed us to make the moves we made.
That was a shock. I wasn't expecting that, but
I'm not paying Malik Monk $9 million a year. But hey, do your thing.
Quick pause before you move on. Quick pause though. Like what we got brewing in Sacramento. You got
nothing.
You got who's the point guard? Fox. You got Fox. Mitchell. Now you got
some bonus.
You got some bonus. That's key one.
Yeah, but here's the thing:
don't make the top 8.
Put a 35% attribute decrease on the Kings because of the Kings. So just like water that shit down away.
Hold up, I'm gonna answer your question, DJ. They take the Spurs slot in the play-in tournament.
I don't know if they get that far.
I mean, the Spurs ain't really got nothing else shaking.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. The Kings take the Spurs slot.
I'm not saying
the Lakers are the Lakers not gonna take it.
The Lakers, they should be higher. They should be higher. So then, who was 10 this year in the West?
This year, 10 was the Spurs. The play-in this year was the Timberwolves, the Pels, the Clippers, and the Spurs.
Oh shit! Never mind. Okay.
The Jazz are falling way down if they make these moves.
And if they get rid of Ruby, because I heard Conley was on the move too.
Yeah, like you get rid of Conley, you get rid of any of the 2 or 3 of Gobert and Mitchell Conley. Like the Jazz are fighting for the play-in.
Yeah, get them the fuck up out of here. I'm not saying that the Kings is about to catapult. I'm just saying moves are being made to where they could potentially start to gain some momentum. But
do we feel like Dame, a healthy Dame, can't lift the Blazers into it?
he need help.
Nah.
He need help.
Dame is hey man, like I said, man, I got an affinity for Dame. He's my favorite player in the league.
I think Dame is a presence guy. I think the Blazers are better with Dame.
I think hey, young hey, Anthony showing some things last season.
He just resigned too.
He did, but he ain't CJ level yet.
No, he's not CJ.
He
But
not.
they just got that boy. But they just drafted that boy Sharp. They feel like Sharp gonna need some time. But I feel like Sharp might be able to give you like some 9th, 8th man minutes, and then in a year or so, be able to give you that Kobe rise. Be like, all right, now I'm here. I'm 19. I'm ready to hoop now.
You know who they need to get rid of? Real rap, and they should have got rid of him a long time ago.
Nurkic.
Yeah,
they got to get him the fuck up out of there because he can't stay healthy long enough to make make his presence felt.
So the Blazers are a textbook example of a franchise that got too committed to being tied to a middling, we might be able to get over the hump team.
Yes.
Like, don't get married to these guys that's not getting you over the hump.
Yes.
Fuck these core guys. Like that. Don't be that franchise.
Dame is the only untradeable player on that roster.
And here's the thing. The Blazers could have very easily been the Bucks, but they just didn't make the same moves. They didn't find their Middleton. They thought that CJ was going to be their Middleton, and it didn't work out. But then they didn't. They thought that Nurkic could be their Lopez. It didn't work out. So it's like the line between being a champion and then being fighting outside of the fucking play-in is tight. Like, it takes a lot of little hope, and it takes a lot of little things to work out that way. And that's why I think that a move like a KD move changes so much equilibrium in the league, because the league is so driven by like one guy or thing like that. It can do that. So, yo, I'm gonna say, give me your parting shots, man. We touched on a lot of different things tonight, man. But let me know. We talked about a lot of things. Just tell me about, what are we looking like headed into the league based on what we know? We got a lot more to dissect, and when the KD move happens and then a couple of other things happen, we're gonna definitely have to get back together. But the way we looking at it now, give me something that today. If the season started next week today, what are we talking about?
Here's what I'm talking about.
Who's gonna win the title? Who's gonna win the title if the league starts again?
That Bo, we getting ESPN too early to call it, Bo.
Right, man. I don't care about who's gonna win the title. Hey, man, I'm gonna give my guy on the east side of the state a shout out. Hey, Bradley Bill, salute to you, good sir. Hey, man, you ain't gotta be no all-time great. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta get no title. Get your dadgum paper, my brother. Salute, city, respect.
Baby. We get paid over here.
Get your money, sir. You got all the love and respect from the west side of the state from this guy. Get your money, sir.
If we go,
that's all I got.
If we go on bold predictions, man, and this is obviously way too early. So, shout out ESPN, way too early poll results and rankings and all of that. I'm gonna go out and say, as it stands, if the season was to start next week, I'm taking Bucks to win the East. I'm taking Golden State to run it back.
Ooh.
Golden State to run it back. As currently constructed.
I think the West is wide open. Personally, too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in a different direction. I'm gonna say a different type of thing right here. You talked about Bradley Beal. You talked about championships. Here's the thing I'm gonna say. I feel like what happened this year was the best thing that could have happened for Jason Tatum. I feel like Jason Tatum had to go through the fire. Jason Tatum had to take the hits he had to take. But here's the thing. Jason Tatum is on the superstar track.
Yes, absolutely.
He's on the superstar track. So my thing about it is I look at what you had to go through. He's been to 3 or 4 Eastern Conference finals now. He's been to the actual finals now. He's seen it. He's on an undeniable track right now. And that's going to be the thing about it is.
I'm going to piggyback that.
Jason Tatum, the Celtics need to, we talked about it earlier with Trae Young. We say, hey, you need to build around your guys. You need to build around things like this. You need to build around Jason Tatum. He don't need to be handling the rock like that. Marcus Smart shouldn't be handling the rock like that. The Celtics have to find a way to bring a guy in who's going to truly be that stabilizer, and he needs a minimum of 10 years in the show. So figure out what you got, but that's what they need because everything else is right there for another Celtics title.
Okay. Hey, and to piggyback off of what you just said, I'm gonna make a movie reference about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to me is Thomas Anderson before he got shot and killed.
Mm. Okay.
And I feel like that loss in the finals is Agent Smith catching that boy in the hallway, capping him, and then he wakes up seeing the Matrix. That's how I feel about Tatum. I really feel like he was Thomas Anderson before he got capped, and then he got capped in them finals, and he's gonna wake up being a problem.
So here's my thing: like people are gonna say if he don't do it next year, it's a way. My thing about it is that the league is unpredictable, and that's the thing I love about the league right now is that for the first time in a long time, it ain't just about run it back. It's about that shit's wide open. It could be a lot of folks that take it.
True.
So Tat gonna have to come up over Giannis. He gonna have to come up over probably KD. I don't see a team in the West that can afford KD, so I think he's gonna still be in the East. You're gonna have to come up over him. You're gonna have to do all of this. But that man is a young man in real life terms. He's about to be 25, I think. 25 years old.
Yeah.
First team, and his career is just showing inevitability. Third pick. Team go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Have another year. He's been to the ECFs 3 times already. Been to the finals the next year. First team All-NBA. Not only is Jason Tatum going to be the MVP of the league one day, he's going to win the title not once, but multiple times. And I'm just saying it the way I see it.
So I'm not mad at it. I'm telling you, he looks the part for me.
He's undeniable. That's
just
the way I see it.
Just throwing it out there, just because I saw that he was bought out today. They need a point guard, right? That's pretty much all Boston needs. That's currently constructed. They just need a point guard. They need somebody to slow the ball down, get people in their spots, know who to get the ball to when they get it to them.
You're right.
Can Kemba be that person?
Bring him home?
Yep.
I don't think Kemba got that eye. I don't think that's how Kemba is wired.
Mm-mm.
I think there's a lot of guys you can look around the league that might make sense for them. I'm gonna tell you right now, where Boston went wrong, Boston would be world top champions right now if they would have signed Lonzo Ball.
Could they afford it?
Yeah, they could have afforded it. They gave that money to Al Horford. They could have afforded it.
But Al got him. Al played a significant role in this run.
But what would have been easier for them to replace to move forward? What Al gave them, a couple of games, a couple of fill-in spots, or having a consistent point guard that's going to D up and move the ball where it need to be first?
I'm gonna be real with you. It's hard for me to answer that question because Al brings, outside of the couple of highlights that he had throughout the playoffs and all of that, Al, I'm gonna tell you like this: you substitute Al Horford for Lonzo Ball against them Bucks win that series, in my opinion.
I'll tell you another way. If you put Lonzo Ball and Robert Williams in the pick and roll, the Bucks don't have an answer for that.
And I'll say this: Lonzo Ball gives Tatum and Brown both some easier buckets than them having to play one-on-one.
And this is as a Bulls fan who has watched how he opened up an offense that was clustered as fuck. Lonzo was a godsend for us, and I don't want his ass to go nowhere. But goddamn, Lonzo look for everybody else because he don't care about himself, and that's what the Celtics need.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I don't want to diminish what Al was able to bring to the Celtics.
No. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's just about a what if that move would have happened instead.
That's a tough one to call. I think Al came in so clutch, and specifically against.
He did.
My thing is they never had to let Al leave in the first place. They could have had all these things.
I agree with that 100%.
They could have had all these things.
I agree with that 100%. But yeah, but again, I can understand. I can see your take on the Kemba thing. It was just throwing it out there just because he's available. He's a point guard.
Yeah, the bad part about the Celtics is I don't think there's an easy answer right now. Like they need somebody who's attached to another team. Like who do the Celtics really need? They probably need like Malcolm Brogdon or something like that.
Ooh.
Like they probably need that.
Ooh,
But
that would be
They can't
nasty.
afford that.
He still don't have that eye though. He still. I'm gonna throw out a name and I'm gonna be honest. This is a partial bias, just because I think he still
John
has.
Stockton.
No, he's still playing in the league currently. Just because I think he does exactly what you're saying about Lonzo. Like he sees it, he has an eye, and he's been there before, and he's done this shit, and this is what he does. Rondo.
Hey,
Yeah.
bro, I said that.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
Rondo is exactly what they need. This would fit in Rondo's wheelhouse so much, just because he's dealt with the personalities of a KG, a Ray Allen, and a Paul Pierce. He's going to be able to slow the ball down when it needs to be slowed down. He will speed it up when it needs to be sped up, and he will get the ball to the players that need to get the ball in certain situations.
And he will have enough cachet to be able to look at Tatum and Brown like, hey, it's time for you boys to get busy.
Exactly.
And he would also be able to say, hey, y'all need to chill. Let me work this pick and roll action for a
And
minute.
he ain't gonna cost you nothing.
Yeah, might be that. Hey, that might be the way. Hey, we got a lot of offseason to go through, but as you can already see, man, there's a lot of threads to lead into it. Hey, I appreciate y'all brothers, man. Y'all got a lot of knowledge in the game. People always looking, they're just like, hey, bring on this guy, bring on that guy. I say, listen, I know people to know a lot more than any of the things that anybody that wrote anything and do anything like that. We're going to get the real, and we're going to keep rolling it in and do it this way. Yo, I appreciate the conversation. I feel like it's like a very real thing. I appreciate the time y'all put in for it. Hey, next bottles is on me. It'll be in the mail. We'll have a good time. We'll keep on piecing it up. I got a lot of travels to do here at the end of the summer, so I might just bring them myself. You know what I'm saying? But hey, peace to y'all brothers. Hey, everybody, stay locked in, man. Follow Straight Out Lowcash. We on Facebook. We on Instagram. We're everywhere. You can follow me. I'm at Cheap Seat Fan. I'm back on all the platforms through that. My beef for Twitter is over, so follow me again back there. But ayo, we gonna run this back, man, because there's a lot more to talk about. Actually, I promise you, after KD, however that works out, we're gonna be right back, and we're gonna talk about it.
Let's lock in.
Because the whole league gonna change again. And that's the beauty of the league, man. But for the time being, yo, I'm Matt, man. This is my man's DJ. This is my man Paul Arzen down here. No, that's my man. That's my man J.O. down there. Yo, a lot of knowledge, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Yo, hey, yo, message into us. Let us know what you're thinking. If you got any thoughts about it, let us know. We're gonna always answer it. We're gonna answer all the mail. But until that time, yo, peace, man. Much love. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, love.